Why not?
That will bring them out of the woodwork. All of our legion of no fans.
All our ones of fans.
Yeah. All right, we're live. Yay.
Ones of fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're both making noise. Good. All right.
What what'd you cook for dinner or whatever?
Oh, chicken and waffles. So you got to sit
Wow.
there and make, waffles for everybody individually.
That sounds fantastic.
Plus, I made like 6 bento boxes this afternoon for me,
Oh yeah.
which is just fancy Japanese version of like lunch boxes.
All right.
So
You made your lunches for the week.
yeah, essentially, because that's the one thing where I kind of just go off of any kind of like healthy eating. Is lunch
All
because I
right.
have no idea what to eat. Like dinner's always planned. So I know what's coming there, and then lunch is always like, wait, leftovers, is there this, is there that, and then I have this weird compulsion about not throwing away food that I need to get over, because
All right.
sometimes you
Right.
just have shit that nobody wants, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if nobody
Yeah.
wants it, then you really shouldn't save it, and you shouldn't force yourself to eat it. You should throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, yeah, I know for me, like my son does not eat leftovers, with the exception of spaghetti. When I make spaghetti and meatballs, he'll eat that the next day. But like
Yeah.
I make if I make like chicken or any because yeah I just made fried chicken. Um, he generally will not eat that the next day. It's fucking weird. Like you know what I mean? It's not just that obviously. Like it's pretty much any other meal besides spaghetti and meatballs. He just
Huh. That's
won't eat
kind of
it.
a bummer too, because then like if you make a little more than you need, it kind of feels like you're throwing it away.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I almost always make way more. Like especially potatoes, dude. Like I'll make like when I make mashed potatoes, I'll use like 5 big fucking potatoes,
Yeah.
or like 6 or 7 smaller ones if that's the case or whatever. So yeah, that almost always goes bad.
Oh man.
But yeah, I always make way too much shit, dude. Pretty
Extra
much.
potatoes is one of those things I think everybody deals with.
Mm, yeah, because I mean, fuck, they're so fucking cheap. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. Throwing them out is not a big deal. Like it's not a mess or anything.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yep. 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 No, it's always a shame to throw food away. But then again, like tonight it was
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like maybe 1 or 2 servings of chicken strips left over, but they weren't like homemade or anything. They were just
Oh,
shitty
okay.
ones out of a
Yeah,
bag. And I was like, well, they're just gonna throw it
yeah I
away. That's a
gotcha.
shame. And then, nah, it turns out like I don't really care. Like
Yeah, I hear you,
Yeah, hoy hoy.
yo yo.
dude. I tried to make. Oh, hey, what's up, Samash?
Hey,
I tried to make uh, potatoes, but like cooked in not mashed potatoes, but like where you fry them, in the pan or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
looking it up online, and you kind of have to like pre-cook them a little bit, or you should I guess, pre-cook them like a little bit, like either boiling or steaming. And I steamed them,
Okay.
and I just did it for like 10 minutes, and I looked at them, and I'm like, these don't really look like cooked at all, and it didn't seem like much steam was coming through. So I'm like, I'm gonna put it in for like another 5 minutes. But I was basically making it with chopped up bacon
Ooh.
and chopped up bell pepper and a few chopped up jalapenos. So I got all that shit fried up or whatever. Yeah, it sounds good in theory, dude. But I basically the extra 5 minutes I put on the steamer turned out to be too much.
Oh, dude, too bad.
Plus, I made way too much potatoes. As per usual, like it barely fit in the fucking pan. Like I had to take like a good chunk of them out. And also I again cooked them too much in the steamer. So as I'm trying to move them around the fucking pan, they're like fucking starting to break down and clump together and shit. So it kind of it tasted all right, but it wasn't what I wanted. Fried on the outside. And I couldn't really get that because they were too mushy by the time I put them in the pan.
Yeah.
So now I think of what I'm going to do with them is just turn them into mashed potatoes with all the fucking, bacon pieces and jalapeno and bell pepper pieces in the mashed potatoes to try to salvage it.
Yeah, you might as well. There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah. So it should turn out all right. Just needs a little more seasoning, I think, and then just mashing it all together. But I use like an entire package of fucking bacon too. Like I use an entire bell pepper, an entire package of bacon. Yeah, that's right. And like 3 jalapenos. So it's kind of a lot.
It's a lot of fucking bacon, man.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, dude. Just fucking. I was like, well, it's been in here for like 2 weeks, and kind of forgetting that bacon keeps for quite some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it stays good for a while. I'm like, well, I better use it before it goes bad. And I'm like, well, I probably had like another month or something before it would actually go bad.
We have bacon go bad all the time. Nobody eats bacon here.
Yeah,
unless it's cooked for
crazy.
dinner or a meal. Like if somebody's making, somebody just wants to make pancakes for everybody with bacon, people will eat bacon. Otherwise, nobody cooks it for anything.
I like it. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying that's a sin. Bacon is sacred. You fucking eat that bacon.
Yeah, bacon is fantastic. Yeah. Dude, bacon, the reason I had originally got the bacon was to wrap around hot dogs. And because, goddamn, that's so fucking good, dude. Bacon wrapped hot dogs is, if you've never tried it, try it. It's fucking amazing. But I didn't end up doing that.
Oh, yeah, no, bacon wrapped hot dogs are the shit.
Yeah.
Especially if you have an air fryer.
Yep, and I do. It turns out amazing, dude.
Well, it doesn't air fryers, they have a little thing that rotates. How do you, do bacon wrapped hot dogs in an air fryer?
Mine just has a little drawer that you pull out. There's nothing that moves.
Oh, okay. See,
I have one that.
See,
air fryers don't do that.
I have one that rotates, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, ours you just line with foil, put the bacon and the hot dog, in there, and cook it for however long.
Oh, okay. So y'all
doing? Not too bad. My misadventure with the fucking potatoes. Yeah, I'd never done that before, so next time I'll know better. But yeah, this time it was quite a fucking failure.
The ingredients sound fantastic. I mean, potatoes with bacon and all that. All of it sounds great. But I guess the preparation just didn't quite lean up.
Yeah, it definitely did not. Like I said, I overcooked the pre-cooking or whatever you do on the potatoes. I definitely overcooked it there. So if I keep it to the 10 minutes, even if it doesn't look like they're fucking cooked enough or pre-cooked enough, I think if I stick with that, they'll actually maintain their integrity, and I can actually fry them up and get that good fried coating on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, for my first effort, it was, definitely a failure.
Once they've gone soft, like you can't fry them anymore.
Yeah, I
once they're too far.
I guess I would have known that.
There's no saving them.
But yeah, they just, after 10 minutes, they just didn't look like they had really cooked it at all. So I was like, all right. But next time, like I said, I'll know better. I got to try it again. So we'll see. We'll see if round 2, if I learned my lesson. Because, like I said, it still tasted good, but it wasn't what I was going for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird because I like potatoes a lot, so I was like, how have I never done this before? You know what I mean? Or how have I never tried it?
Yeah, you learn a new way to prep things every day, man.
Yeah.
I'd never tried frying something that's battered and then baking it the rest of the way. But it turns out it comes out fucking amazing.
All right.
You know, like better than deep fried.
Nice. Yeah, I have to give that a shot, dude.
Well, I tried something new myself. I added Fireball whiskey to 7-Up, and it's not good. It's not good at all. It's a terrible combination.
I think you went wrong when you started with
Fireball. Do you mean like a cinnamon schnapps? Like a cinnamon schnapps kind of thing? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I like it. I think it tastes really good, but it's a difficult thing to mix with things, and it's also high in sugar. So I mean, you get what you get.
Yeah. That always. Does it? Well, the cinnamon schnapps always tasted like an atomic fireball to me. Is whiskey similar or not really?
I have no idea. I've never had that.
Candies, the jawbreakers, the cinnamon jawbreakers.
Oh yeah, it does taste something like
that. Okay. Yeah. Just a different name up there.
Could be, or
you know what I'm talking about, right? The atomic fireball candies.
I've never been a fan of that, so I don't drink the cinnamon stuff.
No,
I was just asking about the candy because it seemed to throw some eyes. So I was like, maybe that's an American thing.
Oh yeah, well, I've had those. Yeah, no, I've seen them. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really ring a bell, but I think it's mostly because it sounds like the type of candy I would never have had.
Yeah, you're like not a fan of that kind of thing.
Yeah, if it's a jawbreaker, like I'm not a fan of jawbreakers. I could do without those.
I mean, who wants to bust their jaw?
Yeah, break that fucker. I don't know if I trust my teeth nowadays.
I would.
Yeah, well, like as a kid, you know what I mean? As a kid, you're like, it's my teeth are gonna last forever.
I'll trust I trust the crowns that the dentist put in.
See,
I think I'm pretty close to just going like, hey, rip out all my shitty teeth and just put dentures in. Like that's how fucked up my teeth are now.
Oh wow, that's really bad. I'm not there yet. No.
See, my dentist, she told me that she told me that my all my fillings and stuff are at the point that because I've had them for a long time, I'm at the point where they're going to start falling out. So she says, just be careful what you eat. Don't eat anything too sticky or anything. And
so
a few days later,
none of that fucking caramel.
Exactly, and I totally forgot about that when I was digging into. I don't know if you guys have this. It's called a score bar. It's like a hard caramel wrapped in chocolate. It's a very thin bar.
We have similar things. I don't think we have that exactly, but.
Well, I had the score bar, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. And then that's when I remember, and I'm like, and I'm almost done. I'm like, I gotta be careful because this shit it sticks to the teeth, and sometimes if it's real bad, I have to pick it off. I'm like, oh, I gotta be careful. So yeah.
Yeah, you probably already bought one boat for your dentist. You don't need to buy a second. Oh wait, no, you get free dentist. Never mind.
No, we don't get free dentists. I do have coverage though. We have this thing called Blue Cross you have to pay for, and it's coverage. Don't be fooled by Canada's supposed free healthcare. We actually do have to pay for an awful lot of it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're actually more like the States than you think. It's just like there was a time where our healthcare was good, but a lot of people are still living in the past to say, oh yeah, our healthcare is great. No, our healthcare is pretty much on par with you guys. The only difference is we don't have that much in the way of insurance coverage. Yeah. Most people just get we just get Blue Cross. So that's pretty much it. You guys have more
fun.
You guys have more options, and what you can do is like, okay, if your one insurance doesn't give you what you need, you can switch to a different insurance, provided they don't
really.
Well, I was about to say unless you have
if
like
you work for somebody, you have to take whatever insurance they offer.
Yeah.
Or you don't get part of it paid. So.
Yeah. So there you go. So it's a different system. I think, like,
It depends.
well, I think the good thing about the American system is that there are options out there. You're not without an option.
Yeah, we do have
and-
options. That is definitely different.
Exactly. Well, here in Canada, you get what you get.
Yeah.
It's not so bad, but yeah, it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say the PPOs give you a lot of options, but I don't know if there's dentist or dental insurance PPOs. Because like when I worked for Liberty Mutual, the insurance was really fucking good. So like I could go out of network, and it didn't really cost hardly that much more. But yeah, I don't know, because dental insurance sucks anyway, dude. Like for how much you pay to what you fucking get is not all that great.
Get that much of a break. Yeah, no, it's not great.
I listen to all this, and if I ever had kids, I see myself being the type of father who would just would be looking over the kid's shoulder, making sure they're brushing their teeth. Because I'm like, I ain't fucking pay. I will not fucking pay for that. Like, you brushing your teeth? Fine, I'm gonna watch you like a hawk.
Dental insurance in the States pretty much covers your routine maintenance. So,
your yearly cleaning, your annual cleaning.
Seeing the dentist like about every 6 months to a year, and getting cleaning every 6 months to a year, and maybe getting some X-rays here and there. But
but you get
you pay at least 80 to 90% for anything you do.
Yeah, if your kids need braces or whatever, they'll pay like he said, but maybe 20% if you have really good dental insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like I said, compared to what you pay, because it's not that much less than what you pay for health insurance, if I recall correctly.
I don't know. I pay like $60 a check twice a month for health insurance. And then I think 15 for the dental. 15, 20 for like dental and vision.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's been a while, so yeah. I fucking remember that shit. But I just remember what it covered. I was like, is this it? It covers basically your checkup, your annual checkup, and little else.
It's nice that it covers the checkup and stuff. But I had a bunch of cavities and like root canals and crowns and stuff. And, I paid probably $3,000 out of like 3,500.
Yeah.
So, it really didn't do a whole lot. It was nice that I didn't have to pay that extra 500. But it was some freeze-dried bullshit how little it actually covers.
Yeah. Dude, and I had the shit, and I didn't even use the checkups, dude. Like, I probably paid for, between when I worked for Verizon and when I worked for Liberty Mutual, I probably paid for a good, at least 10 years of dental insurance in those times. And I think I went for a checkup once or maybe twice. Not at all for like the last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely not worth it because I never even used the fucking checkup shit.
Yeah, if you're not getting the checkups, don't fucking pay for it. You're not really saving money.
Yeah, and I really should have because my teeth are fucked now, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the dental stuff is definitely a big sore thing for a lot of people.
Yes, a lot of people are in super fucking pain from dental work that's not done. Like, everywhere I've ever worked, there's always at least, like, 2 guys that are just, like, always fucking, like, taking aspirin for their fucking teeth and stopping and just fucking, like, I gotta go sit down for a minute, my teeth are really hurting right now. And then clients, too. Because all our clients, all their medical and dental is taken care of by the state, and it's not real great. Because they really don't get any of the dental work they need done very often. It's real hard to get a dentist to see them. And doctors are the fucking worst too. Like, I would not want to be on state fucking medical care. That is rough in California. I don't know what it's like in other states. It could be better. But in California, it's not that great.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, here's hoping Larry Elder can fix it now. We'll see. I don't know.
It'd be nice, but I'm not looking. I don't know, man. They already found one dude with like hundreds of ballots in his car. It's going to get rigged, same as every other one now. I think people are really fucking do not understand that we've crossed that point where there is no way to peaceably change regimes.
Yeah, it's going to keep getting fucking robbed.
They've lodged themselves in there. They've done so against the will of the people, not with the will of the people. And they've figured out how to maintain at least the front of being legitimate. So there's no way they're going to ever stop doing that until the people refuse to allow it.
Well, I mean, there's a couple ways.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can like regain some trust in the election system, and a great way would be to get like Newsom gone.
Well, Texas and stuff, Florida and stuff are putting in good laws. Georgia, so some of the states are putting in laws to protect the voting. But that's really what needs is, voter ID should be nationwide.
Yeah. I mean, it like the problem with like Newsom is like because he's still in charge and
yep,
he's probably making things good and corrupt and telling people look away, take a blind eye. Although Trump was in charge and they still managed to fucking steal the whole vote. Hopefully, with what's been going on with the counting the ballots and the recount going on, and all the shenanigans that have come up from that.
Well, why do you think Afghanistan happened?
What, you mean like the ballots?
Yeah, well, so people wouldn't pay any more attention to the votes.
That could be.
It's a wag the dog. They do it all the time. Every fucking time that we find all this incredible corruption in politics, suddenly all sorts of soldiers die.
Yeah, or some kind of fucking distraction. Yeah.
Well, it's usually soldiers dying. But it's not always. That's
for sure.
Well, not every time, for sure.
And some of the other times this stuff happens, it's also so that way that it's an excuse to bring over refugees, as they say, immigrants.
Cut down the lower class and cut the middle class a little fucking thinner.
Well, and you also have to look at where these people are being sent. Like when they're being brought over to America, they're always being sent in. It's the same thing here in Canada. They always get sent in areas that have like very like pro-Republican conservative views.
Yep.
And so they do that on purpose to change the demographic to try and make things work. Now, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
If you put a bunch of fucking Cuban refugees in Texas, they're going to be Republicans,
Yeah.
Like they're not going to sway it. They're not going to sway it to the left at all. That's not happening.
Well, and not to mention, I mean, some of these people, they don't even know anything about voting and how that all works. So you tell them to go someplace, they probably won't. That's essentially why they always assign people to buses. Like they put them on a bus and drive them.
Illegal.
I think that should be, yeah.
I don't think anybody should be able to drive around, pick people up, and take them to vote. People can either go vote on their own or they can't.
Yeah. Like I can understand in some cases, what if
there's absentee ballots if you can't get yourself down there. It's really easy to do. There's no excuse to have people driving people around. It's just an opportunity to swing politics at people at the last second, right before they're voting.
Yeah,
and especially if you're busing.
Yeah, it'd be different if they were like. It'd be different if they were busing in like.
Oh, that Biden's such a good boy. I'll vote for him.
Based on, Yeah, like I said, it'd be different if it was not based on. You know what I mean? They're not picking up Republican voters. You know what I mean? It's all fucking ones that they're counting on voting Democrat.
Yep.
Yep. That's cheerful.
Well.
And on that note, I gotta go take a dump. I'll be back in a minute.
No problem.
I figure that'd at least lower the
wow.
fucking tenor of the conversation.
Yeah, well, we're here in Canada. We're having an election right now, so everyone's campaigning, and I'm like, yeah, they're going to try and bring up the whole COVID restrictions and say everyone's got to do a mail-in voting. Like, I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all. Like, everything I see in the States, like,
Yeah, I don't fucking blame you. Yeah, it's pretty much done exclusively to fucking, for fraudulent purposes.
yeah, but I mean, the excuse is going to be that it's because of COVID. And of course, they're revving it up right now. They're saying, "Oh yes, there's a huge surge in cases, and there's a large amount of people getting sick and dying and all that." And but no one's talking about like the nuance of it all, because if you look at the amount of people who got vaccinated, okay, great. But we also know once you've been vaccinated, you will test positive for COVID, and that's because it's designed to. It's that. Because they inject you with like a dead virus and all that, and your body's supposed to build antibodies to that. So yeah, no shit, you're going to test positive for COVID. But when people get injured, like with a broken arm, or they were in a car accident and they have to go to an emergency ward, then I mean, but they also it's now mandatory you have to be tested for COVID when you get brought into the hospital. So you get tested and you get brought in, and you're in the emergency ward, but you're not in the emergency ward because of COVID. You're there because you fucking broke your arm. So there's no distinction, because if you look at it, it says huge COVID rates.
Yeah.
Well, no fucking shit. Like, according to the numbers, they say that in my province, 70% of the population has gotten vaccinated. Okay, well, if 70% has gotten vaccinated and they're going to come up positive, guaranteed, but they're not in there because of that, well, then no shit, the numbers are going to go up. It doesn't mean they were in a fucking epidemic. So
yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. Especially like, I don't know if you remember, but like early on in the COVID shit, like a year and a half ago or whatever, there was a case where a guy ended up dying from injuries in a car accident, and they tested him, and he had tested positive for COVID, so they counted it as a COVID death.
Oh yeah,
so,
same thing happened.
That kind of shit's going on.
Same thing happened here. We got the exact same thing. It's absolute nonsense. Yeah, I saw
if they're counting everything, then yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all fucking nuts, dude. Yeah, I'm still amazed that they're still trying to push it when it's so obvious that it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Well, they feel empowered that they can get away with telling you and making you do anything because so many people were compliant before. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing like almost 2 years of this nonsense, and like, what's wrong with another one? And then, not to mention, everyone was so compliant about getting the vaccine. Well, then, I mean, that's why they think they can get away with it.
Yeah, because people are not pushing back enough, dude. Yeah, it's definitely about control. It has nothing to do with the fucking disease, and it has more about, again, almost pretty much exclusively, really, is about control and taking away your fucking rights.
That's right.
Which is really fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Well, and luckily a lot more people.
Pushback.
Yeah. Well, and luckily there's going to be more pushback now because, like, after like almost 2 years of this, I'll say a year and a half. I mean, people have had enough experience of seeing, like, more than 50% of all businesses being shut down, people losing their homes, losing custody of their kids because they can't feed them or whatever. Enough people have suffered. I think that if the government will try and go and have another lockdown, I don't think it's going to be as successful as they think it is. I think there will be more pushback. Also considering that, like, everything's not been going as advertised. Like, for instance, like at the start of the pandemic, they said we just need 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Well, 2 weeks ended up becoming a year and a half, and then they're saying, well, just get your double vaccination, and then you're good to go. You can go back to normal. Well, turns out, no, you can't go back to normal. You have to keep wearing the mask. Oh, and you need a booster. Oh, and the treatment's coming out, so you need to take 2 pills a day. So the goalpost has been moved again and again and again. And people are like, so when is this going to stop? So,
Yeah, it's not ever going to stop. It's not designed to.
Exactly. And a lot of parents are all upset because they're seeing what's happening with the kids, and kids are, for the first time ever, children as young as like 7 or 8. Even, 7, I think it was 7 or 8, I can't remember. But they're having suicidal thoughts at that age. Like, you're a child.
Yeah.
Why are you thinking of killing yourself? And it's a growing concern. Like, there was this viral video.
It's incredibly fucking just destroys your fucking morale, dude. Our collective morale is just, especially kids that are used to going out and doing shit and then, not being able to. Yeah, it's gotta fuck with you, man.
Well, and like, even if, let's say, you're just a kid, and everyone knows they're just kids, but for some reason, certain people like police officers and teachers try to scare them, put the fear of God into them, and yell and shout at them if they're not wearing masks and properly social distancing and all that. Like the whole world has turned against all the kids. So
yeah.
That's why I'm pretty much a supporter of like parents taking their kids out of school. Well, that and all the other shit going on, like forcing them to wear masks and the discovery of like Antifa teachers in schools. Like, parents are losing their shit over that right now.
Actually, I posted that. I don't know if you've seen it, but have you seen the video of the Sacramento school district where all the fucking parents and people going off on the fucking school board?
Maybe I've seen a bunch of those from different areas.
That's why I assume that's why he made the joke about Sacramento schools earlier, because there's a fucking video of them going off on him because the dude actually had, for one thing, no American flag in his classroom, and he had an Antifa flag, and what was the other flag? Ah, damn it! There was 2 flags. I don't know. I can't remember what the other one was.
I think it was the
one
rainbow.
was fucking Antifa.
Yeah, I think it was the rainbow flag, and I remember hearing, the kid, like, there was a kid who said that flag makes him uncomfortable, and the guy's like, well, I mean, it's meant to make fascists feel uncomfortable, so I don't know what to tell you, kid. It's like, that's not...
Yeah, that guy is... Fuck, dude.
Like, that is not...
Seriously, even without having a kid in the district... If I would fucking see that dude on the street, it would be really tough for me to not fucking beat the shit out of him. For being that blatantly fucking attempting to brainwash, fucking children like that.
Well, and that's
especially that and bullying the kids that dared to disagree with them or, have any kind of pushback. And a fucking coward, dude.
And these teachers are everywhere. I mean, it's not that they haven't... Like parents have known that there's something up with schools for some time now. That's why, like, a lot of parents are trying to get their kids into private school, but private school isn't safe either. Private school also has their fair share of crazies in there. Of the same type.
That's true.
So, like, maybe putting kid or homeschooling kids is probably for the best. Which is what parents were doing.
I still have my son on the online school, so I gotta ask him though, because you never know what could still be going on. I mean, I'm in Arizona, so it's not nearly as likely that shit's going down, but it's still fucking really a possibility, that he's getting that fucking bullshit. I haven't asked him about it. I gotta ask him when I pick him up tomorrow.
What's going on with the schools? Yeah, that's a common thing to ask.
Yeah, like I said, I've kind of assumed because I'm in Arizona and it's, not a far left fucking hellhole like fucking California is. I'm kind of assuming that's not the case, but again, most teachers are fucking left leaning, in general. So, I really should be asking that question.
It wouldn't hurt to ask, especially with
I definitely will tomorrow.
Well, with all the discoveries that we've been making, like nowadays, like yeah, it's probably for the best to figure this stuff out.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, and there was another video that came out recently. It was a teacher, and he saw that there was a kid in the hallway who wasn't wearing a mask, and the teacher's just losing his shit on the kid. I think he was a phys ed teacher. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, the kid who had his cell phone on was actually recording the whole thing at the time, and the guy was just going to town on him saying like like you're a fucking jackass kid or something, like just swearing at him. And I'm like, I guess you're losing your job tomorrow.
You would hope, but I guess they have a process, so they couldn't just fire the guy. And again, they're considering how blatant that guy had been about it for like quite some time, from what I understand. Like now, the only reason that it's fucking, that they even put him on the paid administrative leave or whatever is because that video was made, of him saying that shit. Because apparently there had been plenty of complaints about that kind of shit throughout the district, and they just fucking ignored the parents for fucking years, at least a couple of years now. But yeah, it's obviously the school district is, if not actively encouraging it, giving it tacit approval by not doing anything about it. So they're obviously, again, tacitly supporting it at the, best case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Which is fucking disgusting, dude. I don't know about you, but, you're younger, so maybe you did have to deal with this kind of shit, but I don't know, there's probably maybe one or two teachers that I can remember that I was pretty goddamn sure what their political leanings are, and that was about it during my entire time in school. I mean, even those two, it wasn't definite. It was just like, all right, you seem pretty fucking lefty or whatever. Like, you shouldn't be able to tell. You shouldn't know very easily what your fucking teacher's political leanings are. It shouldn't be a definite thing that you're sure of. Saying, like, that's not part of their fucking job. Certainly not to indoctrinate them, literally fucking try to reprogram them into believing some fucking bullshit. Either way, you don't hear about it happening a lot as far as, trying to fucking brainwash into the right leaning shit.
Yeah,
but,
I
sure
don't
it happens.
like. I think a lot of this also like begins because these teachers, they have to go to school to learn how to be teachers, and I think that's where a lot of the stuff is coming into it. Like I think a lot of these teachers, if you look at them, they're pretty young looking. Like they probably haven't been doing this job for very long. I'm seeing no gray hairs, no nothing. You guys must be like either late 20s to early 30s, and so I'm pretty sure that they're just not. I'm pretty sure they're just they don't know any better themselves. So I think a lot of it, like
they got brainwashed too for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't excuse the behavior, but
colleges.
I think, like I said, it doesn't excuse the behavior, but it is something to keep in mind because the rot, like we haven't even seen the origin of the rot. The rot is like somewhere else in higher education, colleges and universities. But then again, that's nothing new. We've known about this for a long time, and we've been complaining about from what we're getting out of academia.
Yeah, because they've always been left-leaning, maybe it wasn't overwhelmingly so like it is now. But yeah, I think education in general, higher education has always been, pretty fucking liberal.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's almost like a feedback loop where it's, the people in positions of hiring are basically hiring based on that. You know what I mean? They're like, now they're, again, in positions to hire people, they're going to, hire people that are, more left-leaning. So it becomes an even greater, disparity
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. I guess like the first time it was really noticeable to society was, of course, the whole feminist movement back in the early 2010s, because it's like everyone knew about feminism and all the nonsense coming out from that.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess you could even say it was earlier than that, because that there was also the start of like the atheist movement. So I don't know, maybe atheism was a factor. I tend to wonder, and the reason why I speculate and wonder about that is because, like, I, I know that when we heard about China influencing higher education, and the influence goes quite deep. Like we always assumed because it was the technology and the sciences, because obviously and those are the most ones that we worry about the most, because that's where all the new technology gets developed. But
True.
I mean, it's also in the cultural aspects, because there's a lot of feminists out there who make a lot of money, even though they've never done anything
Mm-hmm.
like make books or something. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, how
Mm-hmm.
like
How are
a
you getting
teacher
so much money?
exactly?
How
And
is this
so that
teacher driving a fucking Tesla?
you're a fucking
Yeah.
teacher. How much do you actually make? Um, but then I mean, like part of the goal, because some of the people who left China have talked about like the goal and the plan, and one of which was to influence culture. And one of the like back in the '90s, the dominating culture was, of course, like religion, like Christianity, and everyone was
Yeah.
very pro. It was very much pro religion everywhere. And what came to challenge that? Well, that was the atheist movement. So I don't know. I think it's because and the atheist movement was very successful.
Well, and the atheist movement was kind of like a religion in and of itself.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind challenging a religion. That's fine. That there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it can only strengthen things. But the fact that society moved very quickly away from religion, I think that is a problem. And I think that people not going to churches and all that, it's because it's a part of
There's a
the
lot of
culture.
real dumb fucking idiots out there who really genuinely need to believe in a higher power that's going to punish them if they're not good.
Well, I don't even think. I don't even
I
think.
mean, just reality, it really is kind of important.
Well, I don't even think it's that. Like I always, because I'm not a person who believes, and I tend to look at it as a bunch of fairy tales. However, those stories do have like messages and morals and meanings and all that other kind of stuff.
Well, and
And
also going to church is a community that you talk to a bunch of people on a regular basis. You interact with your community. You help people.
yeah, yeah, I think so. So I think that the what's gone with atheism actually was a problem. I didn't think it was back in the day, because I just thought, oh yeah, religion's silly, yeah, rabble. But then I think I was just young and being stupid. But other people did the same thing. So, and like I said, a lot of our culture was came from the church, and a lot of support did come from the church, and a lot of what drove us came from the church. And when we went away from that, well, then what exactly is the moral framework that holds us together? And I didn't know about that, because I didn't think anything of that. It's like, well, what do you mean moral framework? We already know how to be good people. Don't kill, don't steal. Yeah. Good. Like that's basic dumb shit. Yeah, thank you. I don't need that. But there's more to that. That's what I'm getting. I don't think about it too often, because I don't really think about religion, but I do think society probably needs it.
Yep.
Also, I would prefer Christianity over any of the other religions. I'd rather that be the predominant religion. I don't want Islam to come over and take over. That sounds to me as a very frightening thing.
I
And
mean,
here
it
in
works really
Canada,
great if you're one of the guys that has a lot of money and women.
well, I mean, during
If
the
you're like Jeff
whole
Bezos, it's fucking awesome. Because you don't even
exactly,
have to really be Islamic. You just have to pay lip service and show up at a fucking meeting here and there, publicly, and then do whatever the fuck you want with like 50 fucking wives that are all
yeah.
essentially your fucking love slaves.
Well, like when
It's pretty fucking gross altogether. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, when all the Syrian refugee stuff were happening, like when they were arriving on their boats and all that, and when here in Canada we brought a bunch of them in there, and my neighborhood was changing rapidly. There was a lot more Muslims, and not only that, the government, which is I'm still pissed off about, paid to have mosques installed all over the city,
Oh,
and
that's
all
not
over.
okay. That should never
Well,
happen.
exactly. I mean, here in Canada we have a similar thing of like the separation of church and state. We have
Yeah,
very
that's what I'm
similar.
saying. The state should never be involved with any kind of religion.
Yeah,
Not buying churches, not tearing them down. Just they should stay the fuck out.
well, and around that time, I mean, Trudeau had just purchased off, like, he did a bailout to all the media, so no one in the mainstream questioned him on that. No one
Yeah.
brought that up. But it's like, for someone like me, I was like, this is a clear violation. What the fuck? Not only that, he openly, like, well, when
No.
when he was campaigning, he was asked about the whole like will you like do a media bailout for the, because at that point everyone knew that nobody was watching the mainstream, and everyone or the news media was going to get shut down because no one's watching them. And they asked him like would you do something? He said, yeah, I'll do a bailout. And I'm like, something about that statement just sounds wrong. Like, you're not letting media, compete. You're just gonna give them taxpayer dollars. And on top of all that,
too big to fail fallacy bullshit.
mm-hmm.
Like, this company's too big to fail. This company's too important to go out of business. No, it's not. Something else will take its place.
And it was clear.
Yeah, that's not true of any company. Yeah.
Well, to me, it also came off.
If you're a fucking Republican, our company's too small to fail. A small company can't pay their employees, then they should fail too.
Well, it felt
like trickle down is some fucking bullshit, dude, and that was started by Reagan, but it's been continued by every fucking president since.
Yeah, well, the main problem with small businesses is their money gets sucked out by regulations that corporations are writing. So they're paying all these ridiculous fees and inspections and permits and certificates that they shouldn't be having to pay to start a business. And if they weren't paying those, then they could pay their employees a lot better and it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But all of these companies...
Yeah, it makes it so prohibitive to fucking start up.
It's just like...
That's why I'm kind of surprised, like that. No, I was just going to say on that note, I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't more of an effort to take down like Uber and Lyft and those kind of companies, because
no, they want
like
lower paying jobs. Because the more you're relying
what I'm talking about, like
the government for your money, the more Democrat you'll vote.
Yeah, but no, basically the reason I'm bringing it up is because, again, the startup costs for that kind of shit. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the New York City medallion thing or whatever you have to get to be able to run a cab company.
Oh, yeah.
It's $1 million. It's a fucking $1 million to get that fucking medallion that allows you to fucking own a cab company.
Oh, that's really ridiculous.
Yeah, it's incredibly prohibitive to start up unless you're already really fucking rich.
Yeah. Also, I think we both interrupted Samaj, so let's let him finish what he was saying.
I've been
sorry, man.
I've been bounced around so many times. I can't remember which one because I was going to make like 6 points and like
sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
hold on. Everything's at a delay, so like.
Oh yeah, it happens. I just
Yeah, no, I'm never upset. Don't apologize for it. It's technology, so I'm not.
It's not so much an apology as in more of a like, shit, we kind of missed something. Let's go back and try to catch that point if we can.
It's okay. It's technology. I'm not upset. Also, I'm the Canadian here. I should be apologizing. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we kept re-electing Trudeau. Anyway, I don't remember what my point was, so I pray Trudeau doesn't get re-elected. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really hoping for Newsom to be out, but I think low odds on both those fronts.
Well, it depends on how things play out. Like one of the things that surprises me, because I looked up on history, and it seems like Justin Trudeau is trying to redo or repeat history like his father, because apparently his father. Right. Okay. So how it works is like you get into right now he's in a minority government. So yeah, he's in charge, but he has to he can't get anything really passed unless the conservatives agree to it. So that's how it works. So he wants to get a majority again, so that way he can have supreme control. That's why he's doing the election, because he can call a midterm or a spring election. This is what
But
he's
it
doing
might
right
bite
now.
him in the ass, kind of thing.
I'm hoping it's going to bite him in the
Your
ass.
camera is showing. I don't think it's showing on the stream, Daytwan, but I thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not showing through on the stream, so you're not broadcasting to anybody but just me and Samaj.
So I was going to say,
it's now a ceiling.
His father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, he did the same thing back in the day, and he wasn't very popular then. In fact, he was so unpopular, he had a new nickname, and that was the Salad Prime Minister, because everywhere he went, people kept throwing vegetables at him.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, he was very hated. Lots of yelling, lots of shouting. And right now, what's going on with Trudeau is there's a lot of yelling, a lot of shouting. He can't go anywhere without getting, heckled by people. And I'm like, oh, this is all. Yeah.
I'm not surprised because he and a lot of other people are trying to create multiple classes of citizen now with the Vax Pass bullshit. Like corporations are hitting it real hard, and governments are hitting it real hard, where they can create, this is the class of people that gets to do what they want, and this is the class that has to stay home because they're naughty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't think so.
Well, and yeah, I'm pretty sure because the lawyers are looking into this, and it seems like it's probably illegal, so he can't actually do it. But he doesn't. He never cares about what's legal or not because he keeps doing it.
If the courts don't overturn it, then it really doesn't matter if it's legal or not.
Well, and that's the other problem. The courts are not really listening. Sometimes we get a judge who is reasonable, but a lot of times they're not. And it seems to be like the judges get appointed to these high class court cases are usually the ones who are on the pro Trudeau side. So that's probably why he thinks he can get away with everything.
Because he has been.
Well, like for instance, and sometimes it doesn't really work for him. Like for instance, whenever he's doing the tour and he's answering questions and there's like debates going on. The last election, he managed to get a particular news group banned, and that was Rebel News. They're the independent conservative news outlet, and so they were banned in that they couldn't ask questions, even though they are a legitimate news organization.
Oh, that's really fucked up.
It certainly was, and so like Rebel took them to court, sued, and the judge agreed. In fact, the judge gave them emergency orders to let them in, so that way they can ask questions. So, in other words, like, because usually you have to like put in all the rules and fully write down the paragraphs and all that. He's just like, not emergency orders. You can go in right now, because on that day that they won, there was a debate going on, so they were able to get in there and ask questions.
So it was like immediately relevant.
Yeah, immediately. Here you go. You can get go. He'll write down the full statement later. So, it worked out. But even though that during that election, I know, right? But even though like during that election, they were able to get in and ask some interesting questions. He's doing it all over again. So I guess they're going to have to sue just to get in there to ask questions.
Yeah, that's really strange that he would do it again after it's already been ruled illegal and he's been blocked from it. Like, at what point do you just have to be like, all right, like, here's their golden ticket lifetime pass. They're always allowed in. You can never ban them again. Like,
yeah, you would think, but that's not how it works in Canada, apparently. So it's a bit of a clown show.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so I've been paying attention to that. Now, granted, I'm not a huge fan of Rebel, but at least they're asking tough questions.
Yeah, really, it's at least they're not the same exact questions as every other fucking outlet.
Yeah, but I've also become very disenfranchised when it comes to politics at all.
Yeah.
So I have no faith in any political system. I'm of the
both
opinion
sides are
like,
so shitty, you know. And I'm not sure if there's only two sides in Canada, but in like the U.S., both sides are so shitty. It's like, what are you supposed to fucking pick?
I mean, you can have as many parties as can actually afford to do it, but no one cares because all the other smaller parties, nobody cares. They're never going to vote, so there's no point in doing them. It's pretty much a two-tier system, just because no one they give them coverage, but no one cares. So just it's conservatives and the liberals. That's how it is.
Yeah,
and
like, if it doesn't matter who's in charge, it's always the same bullshit. At a certain point, you just stop caring about which fucking color is in charge.
Yeah, well, essentially, we have to make we the people pretty much have to make our opinions heard, and that's all that really matters. But what's different about this time is because usually, if there's something newsworthy, like 1 million people protest in the streets of downtown Toronto or something, that's newsworthy. That's a big deal. But the news has been bought and paid for, and no one is covering it. So the only way you get that information is on the internet. But not everyone's using the internet. Like I'm talking mostly of elderly people and just people who are technology ignorant. or
there's
people
massive protests all over Europe too. You know, I mean, that's not really being covered. I think that's also part of what you're using this Afghanistan shit to cover up. Like, I don't think the Afghanistan thing was a mistake. I think it was an intentional decision because they knew that like people would be mad, but again, there's really nothing they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not paying attention to the left hand can fuck everyone.
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing in America. I mean, everyone's covering this whole Afghan thing, but no one's covering anything else, and that's all done on purpose. So, like the media, you just can't trust the media, and no one should because they're dead, and that's because no one of relevance is watching them. Like, for instance, we have the state broadcaster here called the CBC, and we give them like $1 billion. Well, according to the latest Nielsen ratings or Nielsen reports that came out there, turns out that only 2% of the population watches the CBC. We give them $1 billion for 2%. No one is watching the CBC. No one cares about the CBC.
Which is why they should be able to fail.
Exactly. I don't think we should give them taxpayer dollars anymore. But we like I said, there's bailout money, so like every news broadcaster is now the CBC. They now all get taxpayer dollars. That's how it works. So I'm like, well, fuck it. None of them should be allowed to get any of that money. They should all be allowed to stand on their own 2 feet. If they can't, they can't. They fail, they fail. I don't think we should subsidize it.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm going to ask a question that I asked earlier when I was still muted. Is there any fucking recourse for Trudeau just blatantly disregarding the court's decisions? You know how he's like basically re-banning them or whatever, Rebel Media or whatever. I mean, what recourse is there if he's just like, no, I'm going to just keep banning them. I don't care what the fucking courts say.
Well, I mean,
you know, if there's any recourse, I mean, do you literally would it have to get to the point where you get the? I mean, would it get to the point where, like, all right, I'm going to have to issue a warrant for fucking Trudeau's arrest because he keeps, blatantly breaking the fucking law and ignoring the court's decision? So, you know what I'm saying? That's not.
Yeah, well, actually, there are systems in place to make things work, but here's the problem that happens, and this is where I put on my tinfoil hat, which is not really tinfoil anymore because it seems to be confirmed. But a lot of what Trudeau, his whole system and everything, ever since the beginning, I think it's all been orchestrated by China, or at least some foreign agency like Dubai and all that. Because when he came in charge, and a bunch of judges that got appointed, he personally appointed, and a bunch of people in our police force called the RCMP, he appointed, and they were very much on the pro-Trudeau side. So you would think that the judges in the courts would look at this and go, well, this is clearly a violation. I order that so-and-so gets done. But they're all but a large portion of the judges are pro-Trudeau judges. So they would never rule on him because they essentially work for him. And it's the same thing with the RCMP, our police force and all that. They also have been appointed and all that. So all of this happened very, very early on. Very early on. So I think he knew. It's almost as if he knew like there would be like this kind of controversy later on down the line, and that's how he can get away with it. Because Trudeau also had another incident, like high impact one, and that's when he like what led to his ethics violations. He had his trip to the Aga Khan, which is Billionaire Island. It's like, why would you go to an island filled with billionaires? Not just that, he specifically ordered that his security team not show up. So it's just him, his family, and the pilot on a private jet to Billionaire Island. Like that's a conflict of interest, and no security. Seriously, you're the fucking leader of a country. No security. Okay, so that led to his first ethics violation. The second being that there was a cabinet member, Jody Wilson Rabel, or his female Aboriginal appointee, and everyone loves her, but she has morals and she wanted to talk about all the corruption going on, and he ordered, or he signed some sort of thing that if she talks, she will immediately go to jail. Which is like, why? What does that have to do with it? Like, she's a whistleblower at this point. She's leaving. She wants to talk, but if she talks, off to jail you go. Now it took months, but he finally lifted the ban on her, and of course there was no coverage, even though she spilt the beans about all the various different types of corruptions and stuff. So that was his second ethics violation. But just so you know, the person in charge of the ethics commission was hired by Trudeau, and he's the one who pays their bill.
Which is obviously a huge conflict of interest.
And so, is it a wonder? Like, okay, yes, you have ethics violations, and usually, like when there's like an ethics violation, like the last time this happened with the prime minister, because it turns out he was taking money from China and all that, and so he was about to get his first ever ethics violations, and he stepped down. So he would have been the first prime minister who would have been found, but that was John Chrétien. But he stepped down, but Trudeau, he didn't. So he got 2 ethics violations, which makes him the first prime minister in Canadian history to ever get that. So, but there again, usually when an ethics violation comes up, the prime minister would step down. He didn't. He stayed on, and the fine and what he got as a punishment, he had to pay $600. And normally an ethics violation is a career-ending move. Out you go. No. He gets 2, and then he only has to pay $600.
He pays less than most people pay for a fucking ticket, you know.
Exactly. And so he got away with that. And not only that, like the last one of the more newer ethics violations is when he was apparently like giving money to his buddies at a charity called the We Charity, and all this, like they wined and dined him like a couple $1 million on a paid vacation, and he gave them he offered them like $1 billion Canadian taxpayer dollars.
Wow.
So exactly. So and that case is still ongoing, but yeah, that would have led to his third ethics violation, which. That would have, as far as we can tell, that would have definitely kicked him out. But before he could have been found guilty of that violation, because it was the Conservative Party that was pushing for the investigation, he threatened that if you keep going with this investigation, he's going to take it as an interpretation, as a vote of no confidence, which you can do as the rival party, and enforce an election.
Yeah.
And of course, the Conservatives didn't push that because they weren't very high in the polls. So if an election were to come up, well,
they
then
would have
Trudeau
lost anyway, so there wouldn't have been much of a point.
So that's the only reason he didn't get his third ethics violation.
Damn.
So
that's
needless
some
to say,
crazy shit, dude.
Canadian politics has become very insane, and the sad thing is that like no one's talking about it in the media. Like I didn't forget any of this shit. Like it's horrible. It's still ongoing. Um, but we're at the point where people have just sort of forgotten about the We Charity scandal, and they've forgotten about his blatant ethics violations. Not to mention other things that were never investigated on, which they really should have. There was like a couple of Chinese spies who apparently stole viruses from our Canadian. We have like because I know you guys were doing the gain of function technology. We have a lab here doing the same thing in Winnipeg, and that's where the Chinese spies were. It was a husband and wife team.
Oh, what a surprise! Chinese spies in a fucking lab that does virus research.
Exactly. So they were of course fired and kicked out. But then like the conservatives were like, well, that's it. Shouldn't you have them arrested, investigated, interrogated? They're spies. But he let them. They just got fired and let go. And I'm like, that's a huge violation. And of course, that should be like investigated. But of course,
I don't know if that's a violation, but it's definitely a huge problem.
It's a huge problem, and not only that, viruses like rare, deadly viruses have gone missing.
Oh, obviously, that's really scary. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not in Canada anymore. They got on a plane and went to China. So that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. So, but of course,
I'm kind of wondering that we shouldn't like unleash some of our own fucking like chemical and fucking viral weapons on fucking China at this point.
Well, China's definitely a big threat, but we can't really do anything because they'll make us look like the tyrants on the world stage, and then the world will be against us.
No, I'm not saying openly. I'm just saying, release a few of those real viruses down in China and fucking thin out the fucking enemy.
I would say yes, but they're kind of doing it to themselves because China is not very good at containing viruses. I don't know if you heard, but there's like more viruses.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and not to mention, like China is like becoming a third world country right before our eyes, and that's frightening because like their infrastructure is collapsing. Go figure. It's Chinese infrastructure.
Yeah.
Their dams have collapsed. They're being flooded with water. Cities are engulfed. And everything is collapsing. Cars are exploding. I don't know what cars are exploding. Cars are kind of collapsing. It's insane. Absolutely insane. So one place I wouldn't want to be, it's China. It's funny. I have a Chinese friend, and I talked to him about that. So he thinks I'm making all this shit up.
Dude, that's ridiculous. Come on now.
Well, and the reason for that is because they didn't. His family installed a satellite dish that makes it so they receive Chinese programming, and so he doesn't watch any Canadian programming at all. He day in day out, it's nothing but Chinese stuff.
Dude, is your friend a fucking spy?
It feels that way at times. It certainly does, and so. But that's his family. Like I've known the guy since since high school. So I think he's fine. I think he's just stupid. I call him my stupid friend because he's the guy who who doesn't make a lot of money and thought it'd be a great idea to get a house and it's Jesus. A brand. Yeah, he thought, it's a brand new house, top of the line. It's gorgeous, and I've seen the place. It's gorgeous. It looks great. He can't afford it. And so he thought, I'll just rent it out to my family. They can't afford it. So right now he has renters in there. He's living back in with his family. And his whole goal was like, I'll just go out on my own and live my life. Didn't quite work out. So now he's living with his family. Which, by the way, his mom is one of those tiger moms, like a helicopter parent. Watches his every fucking move. And it's like, is it no wonder you don't have a wife and kids right now? Because you're fucking married to your mom. So, yeah. So he's got this house, and he can't really afford it. So because the house... Yeah, because he got this house, he has to work 2 jobs. I'm like, well, no fucking... No, duh, I barely see you. So yeah, he's working 2 jobs, and even though the economy is tricky and it's hard to earn a living, he decided, oh, it's a great time to get a brand new car, top of the line new car, got all the bells and whistles. I'm like, dude, you're still fucking paying off that house. Just deal with the car. But yeah, he's got this brand new spanky car, and winter's going to be coming. And I'm like, dude, you realize that the roads are going to be icy. You're going to be like it'll be like bumper cars out there. That brand new car is going to be full of fucking dents. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He should at the very least he should have kept his old car until next summer and then get a new car.
Yeah, you got to watch for that. Yeah, well, especially in icy places, because also isn't like salt on the roads like a real big problem with like the undercarriage getting rusted and shit?
Yep, it is. Well, now we don't use salt anymore. We use dirt, but then everything.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a big problem with the.
Well, people use salt for the sidewalks, but the roads are done with dirt. And the problem what I have with dirt is that it makes the roads look fucking ugly. It's ugly brown gunk everywhere you go. If you're walking anywhere, you get like slush everywhere, and it'll get all over your pants. It's fucking gross. I hate it when that happens, but I love it when there's a fresh coat of snow everywhere. It makes everything look brand new. That's the beauty of snow. But with that said, fucking gross when they cover it with goddamn dirt. Anyway.
Jesus.
Yeah, Canada's a magical place right now.
God damn. It's beautiful as fuck, though. I mean, you got to admit, Canada got some natural beauty like no other fucking place on the planet.
We got some gorgeous parks, gorgeous landscape. It is beautiful. I just wish our politics weren't so fucking fucked up.
Yeah, that's.
But then again, who has a perfect? Who really has a perfect system? Really, I mean. You guys have a pretty decent system down there in America, but no one's happy.
No, yeah, I mean, our system's just as bad as yours at this point.
Well, except I think one of the things you guys have that's better is you have term limits. Don't you?
I mean, not where it matters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for president, but not for Congress. We did at one point.
Yeah, and then they all voted to get rid of it and give themselves raises, because why would they have to fucking...
Yeah, it was pretty fucking ridiculous, dude.
Fair enough. I think maybe that should probably have some term limits too. But here in Canada, I mean, if you wanted to, you could be prime minister forever, just as long as you keep getting reelected. So, yeah. Which reminds me, earlier when I was talking about Trudeau's father and his nickname being the Salad Prime Minister, he won that election and he won his majority back.
Oh damn!
So, and I'm like, even though people are throwing salads at you, you still won. Fuck. So I looked at Trudeau and how he's getting heckled fucking everywhere. Like, as great as that feels, it's it could be likely he's going to come back.
That's what I was saying. I wouldn't count him out.
No, I can't. And like he'll be back. Well, okay. The best case scenario would be that the Conservatives win. Most likely scenario is that he'll get back in, but he'll still have a minority. And the worst case scenario is if he gets a majority. If he gets a majority, Canada's over, because he's going to implement the vaccine passport.
Well, that's what's going to happen in our midterms. Is the elections are going to get rigged. No one's going to do anything, and the Democrats are going to have the House, the House, all the fucking things. They'll have the presidency in both senses of Congress because no one does anything. So
I think you actually have a lot more to look forward to than you think, because when Trump lost the last election, nobody believed that he actually lost.
Yeah.
And as a result, the amount of people who are Trump supporters who they've already signed up to be volunteers for the next election.
Yeah.
So there's a huge amount of that right now, and a big support in that. So they want to make sure that everything's like fair and clean. So I think like in the meantime there still could be some corrupt stuff. Like Gavin Newsom might still get by, but like I say, during the presidential election, I don't think that's going to happen. The real question for me is Trump actually going to run?
God, I mean, does it matter?
Well, if Trump wins,
he got some stuff done the last time, but you know, altogether, he didn't really accomplish all that much. And I don't know that it's going to matter if he's in office because he doesn't really get much support. Like a lot of what he does is real common sense, middle of the road shit that everybody should support. But you know, everybody feels like they can just act ridiculous about him, like he's some sort of evil dictator.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how they generate money because that's the only way they get any support. Like CNN, their ratings are like in the tank. But then they started like it was the Trump hate club. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, people love Trump. I think he could. Well, he's definitely going to win next time. Just because if the enough people are making sure that it's a clean election. There's no way that they could rig this, or no way that they can rig it effectively. Then that would be good. I think that could work out. But like I said, like he's pretty old. Like he's going to be 77 by the next time the election. That's how old Biden was when he ran during the last election. So he'll be pretty old. I don't know if people want him in there.
I don't think he'll win the next one. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think he would.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw a stat that actually said, well, at least of the people, respondents, 20% of people that voted for Biden regret voting for him and would want their vote back.
Well, considering
that's a fucking big number, dude.
Well, considering one of the first things he did was cancel the Keystone XL pipeline. Like that. How many thousands of jobs was that? That was a lot of jobs. People were fucking mad.
Also, you got to consider all those are lies at this point.
Yeah. Well, his support just keeps dropping and dropping. Although the funny thing is, even though like the media is pretty much bought and paid for by foreign interests, even they are stepping up on the Biden hate wagon, and that's because it's good for ratings. It's like they may be all pro Biden and all that, but they can't stand it right now because they need that money. They need that money. So they'll throw him.
It works so well with Trump, dude. So they're like, well, let's just keep hating the president the way we did last time.
And there's Republicans asking for him to be impeached or to step down. That could work, but then you end up with President Harris. That would be embarrassing.
Well, Biden is just
one of the few politicians. One of the few politicians that's less popular than Biden was fucking Kamala Harris.
Biden he's not only a traitor to the country because he's obviously working for like the CCP, but he's just completely incapable. Like utterly and completely incapable of really doing much of anything.
I think if Kamala was to become president because of all this, and China comes over and says, "This is our declaration of war," or no, "This is our declaration of war," and Kamala's just going to be cackling like a witch. Oh, you're so funny. Like, no, we kill you. You all dead, you American scum. Yeah, that would probably happen. And not only that, everything I've heard about your guys' generals right now is frightening. These guys are insane. How are they in charge? Like the whole white rage or whatever that one general was saying. Like, what the fuck is that all about? You should be like getting ready to fight a war, but not go through all this bullshit.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know if that was actually true, but I heard that they actually were making like the recruits and shit watch like critical race theory videos and shit like that.
There's been a big push to try to eliminate a lot of that stuff from the fucking military being taught. Like they're having a real problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fucking ridiculous, dude.
that and mandatory vaccines for all the soldiers. Like, why?
Well,
Like,
I mean, that's an easy one to call for.
yes. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the when they would go into foreign countries and they would require them to have the whatever inoculations before they went in. That was fucking decades ago, I think. But yeah, I believe that did happen.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess they're probably kind of used to it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the answer is for a lot of this stuff, man.
Yeah, it's too fucked up, man. There's too much fucked up shit going on, dude. It's like you can't fucking track it, man. Yeah, it's tough to know what the right fucking solution is, man.
I don't know that there is one, honestly. Like, so I don't think there's a peaceful solution.
Yeah, that's the fucking issue, dude. It seems like, because again, they seem to have, the people in power have nothing to fear. There's no repercussions for their massive corruption.
There's no reason to change if there's no consequences for anything they do.
Yeah, and they've gotten so fucking blatant about it. Like, it's really, unfortunately, to the point where you almost have to fucking, some of these people have to be taken out. Enough that the rest of them are
totally
afraid of it
agree with
happening.
The thing is, I don't think it's gotten more blatant. I think the internet has made it very impossible to hide at this point. I think it's always been like this. I think they're operating 100% as they would have operated 20 years ago. But the internet and people have evolved to the point where they're like, it's just, you can't hide it anymore.
Yeah. There's too many people. The flow of information just can't be fucking held back. There's too many people that can fucking talk about the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, back when it was just, especially back before even cable, when you had 3 networks, basically. You know what I mean? Those were basically your outlets, other than, like, newspaper and shit, I guess. But, as far as TV, it was very limited on what news you were going to fucking hear about.
Yep. Yeah. So the internet has given us the opportunity to hear from a lot of people we wouldn't normally hear from.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's going on. And we're hearing a lot of the stuff we would never have heard 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So yeah, kind of makes sense why they're trying to fucking censor the internet, Is there anybody talking about this shit?
No, like, nobody's talking about it. That's the real ultimate, issue.
Yeah, like the parents of some of the Marines that died from that.
Well, okay, so there was that thing I put up from Natomas High School, where they were going after the teachers. Essentially, like the Board of Education was getting raked for all the shit that they've been up to with the critical race theory, and like they actually had a teacher recruiting for Antifa, like legitimately getting people to come join Antifa. He would get extra credit, if you joined.
Yeah, no, we were talking about it a little while you were taking a shit or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's kind of
that guy. Yeah, and apparently that should have been going on for quite some time. And the only reason that they actually suspended the guy is because somebody took video of it and put it on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only reason that guy is potentially going to lose his job.
Yeah.
Because apparently the complaints had been there for fucking a year or two, with him. Maybe not necessarily with him, but with other teachers.
Yeah.
Blatantly. Yeah, they're literally not using the textbooks, and everything is just these fucking worksheets that they're fucking printing up.
Yeah, that's really disturbing, that they're not using, actual, stuff that they're supposed to teach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's literally all just this fucking communist propaganda shit, dude.
Yeah. Well, because then there's nothing. How are the parents supposed to know what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because even when the kids are fucking complaining to the parents and the parents are complaining to the school, it's just being like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to totally look into that. And then they obviously don't. Or they don't care, which is more likely.
Yeah, no, the teachers, the school board doesn't care. They're part of it. Like, they're in on the whole bit. Like, that's obvious. I mean,
yeah,
they're obviously part of the problem is the teachers.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude, that they're... excuse me. Yeah, and didn't they like literally just stopped listening and just left, right? Like they didn't even fucking stick around for everybody talking.
No, they're not at all concerned. Yeah, they don't give a shit. Yeah. They just refuse to say anything, answer any questions, really like take any responsibility of any kind. They were just sort of like brushing it off. And I think it's because they don't, they're not worried. They're probably not going to lose their job.
Yeah. Again, if they're not literally complicit in it, they're at least tacitly supporting it by not doing anything to the teachers that are being complained about.
Yep. I mean, well, they're the ones that hired the guy, and like other people had complained.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because apparently, before he got hired, all you had to do was look at his Facebook or whatever social media, and basically, it should have been obvious that he was a fucking radical fucking leftist communist.
Yeah. Or, any one of the multiple fucking complaints that other people had already.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like, they're not going to lose their jobs. Nothing. I mean, it's really comforting to know that, like, no, okay, everybody is not okay with this. Clearly, the vast majority are like, this is ridiculous. You're teaching children to be racist. You're teaching them that the only thing that matters is their skin color. You can't, like, we won't allow this. But what can you do? Like, you can't get them removed from office, and they're the ones that hire the teachers.
Yeah. It was really encouraging because you had a lot of like Hispanic parents and that kind of shit. Like, really fucking pissed. And those are a lot tougher ones to, just be like, oh no, you're just an evil white person, so fuck your opinion.
I like the one black lady that got up there and she's like, I don't know what the fuck you all think you're doing up in here. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, because apparently, if I was understanding what she was saying, if I was understanding that correctly, is they pretty much did the job of brainwashing her daughter into believing fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse for a person than to think that the only thing that makes them successful or not successful, or can make them successful or not successful, is the color of their skin. And critical race theory really just teaches people from the beginning, like, well, if you're black, you're never going to get anywhere. The white man's holding you down, and nothing that happens is your fault. So if you don't take any responsibility, like, how are you supposed to be able to change anything for the better?
Yeah, it really is just teaching you to feel helpless and be a victim.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't mean take responsibility as in to say everything that happens is 100% your fault, or anything like that. I mean take responsibility for being able to change it.
Yeah.
Being able to say, you know what?
Like it's possible.
This is terrible, but it's my responsibility to change it. Fair or not, I'm the one who can do this. And the only person who's going to make that decision is going to be me.
Yeah. I mean, it's all bullshit anyway, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you have that easy scapegoat of, well...
Mute Discord.
Oh, hey, what's up? If you have that easy scapegoat, if it's the white man holding me down, or it's the straight guy holding me back kind of thing.
You guys just need to map a push to mute button. Super
Yeah,
easy.
it gets kind of bad.
Yeah.
You might as well just
Yeah,
log
it's
anyway.
gonna especially minorities. It's going to teach you to be resentful and
There,
hateful.
now I'm in here. I'm just logging out of
Of white
Discord.
people.
What's the point?
Yeah, you got to be really, really careful.
Yeah, it's all your fault. All you average, everyday people on the street that have no fucking, nothing to do with. Well, it's not real anyway. But even if it was,
a bunch of people that never owned
Certainly
slaves
wouldn't
are
be
not oppressing a bunch
responsible.
of people that were never slaves. Period. Like, sorry.
yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
Like, my cousin is black and he owns 2 businesses in San Francisco because he went and worked his fucking ass off and built them literally, in many cases, with his own 2 hands. Like actually fucking, like, did the construction work himself.
Right.
So it's like, clearly nobody was holding him back. I didn't talk him down and be like, nah, you're a terrible person because you're black, even though you're my cousin and you can't succeed. Not at all.
Yeah. It's such fucking nonsense, man. So yeah. Ugh. Yeah, it's fucking really frustrating. Like I said, the fact that it's gotten to the point where you're literally, these people are gonna have to be fucking attacked in some fucking way.
Yeah. It's not a case of like that they need to be attacked. There has to be some way to stop them. That's not. That's not impossible. Like, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, once they rig the fucking elections, dude, what fucking recourse do you have at that point, man?
Yeah. Really not much,
Yeah, if they don't have the fear of reprisals like that, why fucking, why stop?
Yo,
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. If Trump had been, had actually gotten some sort of like actual thing going, like they'd investigated and they reversed some of this nonsense.
Yeah, the whole mail-in ballot thing should have never fucking happened.
Yeah, most of that stuff is just nonsense.
Yeah, and he fucking must have been aware of it, but did nothing about it until he lost, and then he tried to fucking do some shit.
No, he did try to do something about it. I mean, the Republicans were in the set, saying this is going to be used and manipulated, but nothing could have gotten done with it because he said, "Oh no, it's a pandemic; it has to happen because it's it's safer." And yeah. So they did what they could, but not they like it was more Republicans' fault they didn't push it harder.
Yeah, definitely Republicans' fault for not pushing it. They did not push it at all.
Yeah. Well,
no, go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, I don't think it was something that they could have gotten ready for because even if they did push it, then the media is just going to say, "Oh, they want people to die because it's a pandemic and all that." So I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, and the other thing he didn't really do anything about was the whole online censorship online censorship stuff. He wasn't worried about it until after he was out of office, or after he lost the election. Not even until after he was out of office. Once he got fucking banned, now it's a fucking big deal. But he was fully aware of the fucking online censorship and did absolutely nothing. Didn't even attempt anything to fucking right that wrong.
Nope. I mean, it's just
Yeah, that was what's really frustrating with him is, he came out of the gates pretty much on fire, dude, doing some really fucking decent shit. And basically after the first, 6 months,
it's
maybe
okay.
a
So
year,
Schwarzenegger was like our fucking governor in California for a while, right?
Yeah, oh
He
yeah.
actually did some really good stuff.
But I feel like there's a but.
Did you cut out, or are you
Sorry.
pondering something?
Schwarzenegger got bogged down by people that just refused to do anything that they should to help the, actually solve problems because it was all political shit. And so I think the similar thing happened to Trump. He's like, oh, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to put these solutions. I'm going to negotiate. People are going to work with me. And, it's going to be a whole different ball game. And I'm going to, make it all better. But then you get there and no one will do anything in any way good or proactive for any reason because it's all fucking politics.
Yeah. Like, I believe that he met with, like, Pelosi and Schumer in good faith, and they did not reciprocate that. Well, you remember when they were supposedly meeting with, again, Pelosi and Schumer, and then nothing came of it because Pelosi and Schumer are fucking evil and totally fucking corrupt. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was definitely obviously stacked against him, dude.
Well, I think part of the other problem with Trump is that he's a business guy, and he's very good at what he does. And I think he made a pretty decent president, but he doesn't know how to play the game of politics. Because these people in politics, a lot of them are professional politicians. They like their first job at college was, a politician. I mean, most people, their first job was flipping burgers or something. No, these guys immediately became politicians. So they know how the game is run. They know all the loopholes. They know all the this and that. And Trump, he doesn't know anything about this stuff. He ran because he wanted to, and he managed to make it work because he's a great business guy and a great entertainer. So he knows how to get shit done.
But yeah, it was just, again, really stacked against him, dude. But yeah, it really did just seem like, and maybe he fucking realized it was fucking hopeless. That could be a strong possibility.
Yeah.
That he was just like, this is too much fucking corruption here. Too many people that are not willing to fucking negotiate or concede anything.
Yeah, that is one of the really, really scary things right now.
Well, the funny thing is like, even though like he lost, well, even though I don't believe that he lost, but he did lose and all this stuff. What's great about it is that, like with Joe Biden, a lot of people have who were very much on the pro-Biden side and the anti-Trump.
Yeah.
A lot of them switched over. That's why, like let's say you take the corruption out of the equation, he's going to win the biggest landslide probably in American history. I don't know if there's any way he's not going to win. But
it would be tough to be. I don't know if you're familiar with Reagan's re-election, but Mondale got 3 electoral votes, dude. So it'd be tough to be a bigger landslide than that. You'd literally have to win every single state. But go ahead, sorry.
Well, that's true. Like, I'm not that familiar with American history, so that could be. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this and thinking this is very impressive.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and it probably would have been a pretty big fucking landslide, if the votes were counted, correctly last time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Because, dude, how many fucking states were there? Basically almost all the swing states where he was, leading up until they started counting the fucking mail-in ballots. I remember
he was going to win a much, much greater margin the next time around.
Yeah. And it was, dude, I remember seeing it was like a press conference where they were talking about the vote totals from the mail-in ballots. And it was like, I think it was Pennsylvania, but it was one of the swing states where they're like, okay, so all right, how many of the votes went to Trump? And they're like, about 5,800 of the mail-in ballots were for Trump. And then for Biden, it was like almost 600,000.
Damn.
Like it was almost a fucking 100 to 1 or something, dude. It was fucking ridiculous, dude. And literally, when they read that number off, the people like laughed. Like the people, the press, and all that shit were literally like chuckling, like that's ridiculous. Like because the number was so fucking out, so disproportionate that it was fucking absurd.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way it wasn't fucking, bullshit.
Well, it's the first time in U.S. election history that the Keystone states didn't decide the election. There's like a set of states where like if they win, it's almost always it's every single time somebody has like won in the what do you call it, the polling while they're doing it.
Right.
Then they've won the election. And Trump won all of them in the polling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the first time in U.S. election history where it didn't go the way that it would go in every other election. Plus, I mean, there were counties where there were more votes than actual human beings existed. That right there just tells you, like, if there's a multitude of that kind of bullshit, it's like, well, yeah, fucking, of course, it's rigged. I mean, come on.
Well, and not to mention the big thing from the Trump's first election is that Hillary Clinton, there was like dead people voting for her. Like that should have set off a lot of warning bells.
That's when they should have started putting in like fucking election things. That's when the Republicans should have used their capital, if they actually gave fuck one about people.
Yeah,
and they weren't just like paid opposition. Like let's not pretend that the Republicans in the U.S. are not paid opposition at this point.
Oh yeah, Republicans. You can't trust any politician, really.
Yeah, personally, I think we need to just take them all out of their fucking offices and hang them in the fucking streets on the nearest fucking street lamps.
Yeah, you got to put the fucking fear in them, dude. It's fucked up that it's gotten to that fucking point. But I've tried to think of any other fucking solution, and I don't see one, dude.
We need to scare the politicians so that they don't fuck up the population, but also scare them. Like, look, if you don't do your job, this is what's going to happen. Like, I love. Well, I shouldn't say that I love it, but I kind of do. Like what's going on in like France right now, where people are in the cities and they're protesting in huge numbers. Of course, no one's covering it, but there is photos of fucking guillotines in the goddamn center of the streets.
Because people are being ignored, and they're the ones that are supposed to be making these decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
And the government's not allowing it, so it's going to take the natural progression. Eventually, it will get violent. I don't know which side's going to win. I know which side I really, really want to win.
Well, obviously, the people are going to win that one. But I mean, if the government keeps pushing, I mean, the people will come, spring into action. And the government in France, they're trying to intimidate the people through other means. Like, I don't know if you saw the footage of that mall in Paris, where apparently there's riot cops, and they're gonna fucking tackle you to the ground if you're not wearing a mask. I'm like, you guys are in, like, why are you not out there in the protests? There are literally millions of people not wearing masks, but you'll go to a mall, that's where your SWAT teams are. That, like, you guys are such cowards. Absolute fucking cowards. You'll tackle like one or two people in the mall, but you won't go out to where everyone else is demonstrating. All right, I see how it is. So yeah, France is in an interesting time right now. I think it's great to remind the government who they work for.
Yeah,
in America,
for sure.
Like in America, you guys got all those guns, so I mean. If America decides to get violent, it's gonna be nasty. And all this is all sad because it's like there's actual global events going on that's a big deal, like what's going on with China, and of course Afghanistan, and we can't deal with any of that stuff because look at like our own government is attacking its own people.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. That's the real problem with, for instance, the critical race theory being taught in the military. you know, the military is by fucking definition a bunch of fucking vulnerable kids that are being, you know, essentially, you know, broken down and rebuilt mentally and physically. The last thing you want is them indoctrinated in communist propaganda, because then they'll fucking agree with communists, you know, like.
Mm-hmm. This doesn't end well for anyone. So, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's leading the government and what's causing them to behave this way and backing this kind of stuff. The only thing I can think of is that they're all bought and paid for by, you know, China and some other foreign agencies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, surely they see the writing on the wall that this is going to cause them problems. But I guess if they're nothing more than employees for a foreign agency, I mean, maybe they think that they have an exit plan. Like does Joe Biden have a helicopter he's going to step in and run away to Davos? It's like, is that what's going to happen? Like, does he actually think that's going to happen? That people won't fucking find him?
I don't know.
Like, do we have to go out and you know, do what the socialists say and you know, go after the rich? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is fucking terrifying if you really think about it for a second.
Well, and the people are going to get angry and they're going to, you know, talk about this stuff and they're going to actually do something about it. Although, who knows? It might lead to another war. Who knows how that's going to play out? In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if certain people will have like a new Nuremberg trial of some sort going on. There'll be like different wealthy elites, and more than likely, probably some of those people that run Pfizer and the other medical companies. Yeah. I gotta tell you, because from everything I've been hearing about all these vaccine stuff, it's not looking good, and something's got to be done about them.
Definitely.
And then, unfortunately, I mean, we could do something about it now, but obviously we have to wait for people to suffer, and then they'll start taking action. It's like everywhere I go, I'm called the conspiracy theorist, but
yeah, they can call you that. It doesn't mean it's true.
No, it's not, and it's a problem because, like, if you want to go somewhere and then, like, now they're doing the whole vaccine passport. Like, it's not here in my province yet. Our premier said he would never do it, but then again, he's flip flopped on every other issue, so I have no reason to believe him at all.
Yeah.
So if they start doing that, well, okay, how bad is it going to be? Am I still going to be able to go out and get my groceries? If not, well, how am I going to feed myself?
I don't know, dude. The whole thing is the thing is, what they really want is a lot of people in fear.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, the other part that gets me is that they're making the small businesses be their enforcers.
Yeah.
Like quite literally, this is the stuff that's killing you, and you're going to enforce it. Like, seriously? So the part about that is, like, I want to help out small businesses because I know they're suffering. But if they're going to start, because I'm not wearing the mask, I'm not going to get the vaccine. I'm not going to participate in this bullshit. And if they're going to start doing that, well, I guess I'm not going to give them my money. But it sucks because if they don't start getting money, then they're going to suffer. Like, if we go through another round of lockdowns, virtually every small business is going to shut down.
Yeah.
Most of them cannot.
You can tell that they're ramping up to do it.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen in October. And I say October because that's when the cold and flu season revs up, and that's when a lot of people are going to start getting sick. So, yeah, when people start getting sick, and it's going to be bad, and they're going to say it's the unvaccinated. This is why I kind of want to get the fuck out of the big city. Right now, our landlord's shutting the place down because he can't afford the mortgage, so we have to be out of this place by the end of October. And I'm pushing hard. Like, let's get the fuck out of the city. I want to go to a small town. That's the only place where I could be safe. Because they're going to start persecuting the unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. And, like, the more I wait this out, it's like they're going to eventually realize, yeah, it's the unvaccinated, the only healthy people left.
Yep. The whole thing is pretty terrifying.
Yeah,
when
but
you
they're
look
already
at it as a whole thing.
yeah. Well, and like I said, they're gonna rev that up, and that's it's a big contention in my household because like the other day, my mom was just yelling and shrieking at me to go out and get the vaccine. I'm like, I'm not doing it, not doing it, and she's like,
Oh,
you're gonna
I had
die.
a doctor straight telling me all sorts of nonsense, like just making up numbers and shit.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's because that's the power of fear, and they're all scared, and they want to try and
Well, and
push
this is
it.
when I was in the fucking the hospital with a fucking panic attack. So what an asshole.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You know, this guy's obviously aware of my situation. He knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm. He thinks he can sway you with while you're having a panic attack. Like you're gonna try and convince
Use
me.
a moment where I'm weak in fucking not thinking clearly or rationally as an opportunity to fucking force me to do something or talk me into doing something that I wouldn't otherwise just agree to do.
Yeah. You can't say I'm surprised. Well, from what I know about a lot of doctors, it's like they have, when they get out of school, they're like the newest education and all that. And once they're out of school and they're actually, practicing medicine, they don't keep up to date with anything because they just take, it's like they don't bother learning new things because they're good to go as is. So when I see older doctors, I have to be a bit more skeptical. Like the one time when I couldn't get to my family doctor, and he's an old guy, and
Yeah.
I went into a walk-in clinic, and there was this young doctor, this young Asian doctor, and he was like, oh, okay, well, I want to make sure you're doing this. You're having that problem. I want to double check this. And he was thorough in making sure I was perfectly healthy, or it wasn't this, and this. Like this guy went above and beyond. My other doctor, I walk in, he's like, what's the problem? It's like, well, I got this, and this. It's like, here's a prescription for Tylenol. Get out. Like,
Yeah.
with that said, he's a bit of an asshole, and I don't think he's very reliable. However, he will prescribe me whatever the fuck I want. I can walk in there and says, "Hey, I would like to have this, and this," and he'll just write it down. It's like, "Okay, get out." He just doesn't fucking care. He'll write whatever. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and he's old and he runs the place, and I think he's gonna sell it to a younger doctor, and I'll probably get a new doctor at some point. But I'm like, I feel like I need to take advantage of him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, it's a shame I don't do drugs. I could get it, get that government prescribed kush. Yeah.
Yep. Not much to be done.
I mean, yeah. I'm an
Honestly, at this
honest.
point, like I think okay, so we all are aware that there are all these really big issues going on and it's really fucked up and scary. But at the end of the day, we kinda gotta just
Yes.
I mean, live our fucking lives, man.
Yeah. I realize that myself. Like following the news and stuff, there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
But there was when it really hit me and my anxiety was going up. I just realized I had to turn off the TV or not even turn to just stop watching the videos and just walk away.
That's one of the things that I think is really driving a lot of the problems. There is not a lot of genuinely entertaining things out there for people to get a break from the fucking monotonous political horse shit. Like, and from either side, man, it really doesn't matter like what side you're talking about. Everybody needs to be able to just stop, watch something fun, or go to a park or a concert or turn on the radio and just tune out of reality for 5 fucking minutes.
Well, there's a reason why, like the two biggest movies of the summer, and they made like record amounts of money, was Kong versus Godzilla and that new movie with Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy. They are entertaining movies, not an ounce of politics in any of them.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, because I did. I watched Free Guy, and it's fucking amazing.
I know, right? But I think the reason why it's so exciting, because really, when you think about it, it's actually kind of a mediocre movie, but it's entertaining. Like we missed it. That's why it's so fucking huge.
It's absurdly entertaining because there's no political nonsense. Like, he's not.
Yeah.
It's not a story about women empowerment. It's not a story about racism. It's a story about having a really good story. I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's like, it's genuinely about just like, here's this really interesting, wacky fucking tale, and you get to watch, Ryan Reynolds chew the fucking scenery up.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like, everybody else was pretty mediocre in that movie. Ryan Reynolds really was carrying that whole fucking film.
Yeah,
I kind of like the black guy that played his friend. I thought that guy did pretty good, but he wasn't really like amazing or anything. It was just like, he was adequate.
I always remember that line. Oh, he hits so hard, but his hands are so soft.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun shit in those. I don't know, man. That's one thing I kind of want to do. I want to start writing films, but I gotta sit down and make myself actually write it. I've got probably like half a dozen fucking in my head. It just
I think that's probably good. I think that's probably a good idea. Get a couple of like dollars.
And they're not all hobo car wash. Like, they're not all trying to get like just people to be like genuinely disturbed and like, what is wrong with you? Like.
Well, and you'd be surprised when you start writing something and you realize, oh, this would do better as a this or that, because some stories always start off as something else entirely, and then it just sort of becomes other things. So you can recycle ideas. I think keeping yourself busy and keeping your mind occupied is a good thing. I'd say go out and start writing. Like I'm writing up a couple stories right now as we go, and I should probably sit down and get back to writing those. But yeah, I have a couple comic ideas. And a movie I would love to make, but it'd be a big expensive one, and I don't know if they want to.
Yeah, one of the movies in my head is like a barbarian movie, and I know that would just be like fucking all the money. It's like, there'd never be a chance for me to get that made because just nobody can afford it. I could make it on a smaller scale. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do sort of like an isekai movie. But not in anime, just in regular like filming.
I'm doing something of a similar with Barbarians, with a guy playing a video game.
Oh, Barbarians is going to be the next big thing.
It will be.
If you guys don't ever go anywhere, we're not getting through this team, bastards. Oh, sorry, I might be playing a video game because I needed to fucking manage my anxiety a little.
That's okay. We're talking a lot of heavy shit. But yes, I think Barbarians will be the next big genre. Like Sword and Sorcery will be the big genre, and the reason being is because that's the one thing where it's all about like manly men and feminine women. Like, yes, there are female barbarians every now and then. There's a Red Sonja movie on the horizon, which is going to be awful because it's played by.
I wanted to do one where it was like a chick barbarian. Ironically enough.
That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, the Red Sonja movie is going to be coming out, and everyone's upset because they got like a Middle Eastern woman to play Red Sonja, and I'm like, one, she's Middle Eastern. She's obviously Middle Eastern in every way.
There's no race in barbarian movies. I don't understand why you would do that. That doesn't matter like at all. Like, who cares? Well, watch the original Conan the Barbarians. There's no like fucking race of anybody. It's just a mishmash of fucking whatever was cool.
Well, like Barbarians, they have like a thing with the whole like Viking mythology, so there's a lot of white people. So yeah, it's always perceived that way, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But they have to change the race and everything because it's current year, don't you know?
Yeah. Here's the thing. If it wasn't that they were doing it specifically to earn brownie points for their fucking political nonsense, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, most people wouldn't care, but it is done for that, and no one likes it. like I recently saw that Shang-Chi movie, and it's very mediocre. Also, I can see why it's banned in China. The main character is not that good. Not that good. In fact, actually, if I could, the best way I could use to describe Shang-Chi, it's premature ejaculation. The movie. All the best shit was in the beginning, and the other half is boring. Like it's seen in the trailer. There's this fight scene on a bus. Dude, that fight scene
Oh,
is
damn.
fuck. That fight scene is fucking good. But that's early on. Not towards the middle there was a fight between a sorcerer and the abomination, and that looks fucking good.
Nice.
Then the rest of the movie boring, absolutely boring. It's first half good, second half don't even bother. It's just yeah, I wouldn't. So.
Damn.
And then, what was really up? And the funny thing is, okay, like yes, the movie was mediocre, but what really bothered me is that I called up all my friends and we were like, oh yeah, let's all go see a Marvel movie. We haven't done that in years. Let's just do it. And I get there and no one shows up. It's just me.
Jesus.
I'm like that was. Now, at first I was all upset, but then I looked at my because I all communicated with them on Facebook with Messenger, and I sent them the time, and we sent a message on Facebook Messenger. It starts off with a gray check mark, and that tells you it's been sent.
Okay.
And if it goes blue, like the check mark turns blue, it means that their device, like whatever has received it. And then if you see the person's icon next to the message, then you can tell that they've read it. I've been looking at it. They have not received my messages, and so then I tried messaging them later, like, "Hey, is everything okay? What happened?" No one's received any of my messages.
Oh wow!
And now so my theory behind that is because a friend of mine, we were talking about on Messenger about the whole mask mandate, which just came back, and I gave her a bunch of my opinions and all the shit that was going on, and I had to stop and think to myself, did I say stuff that's politically incorrect?
Probably. I mean, it's hard to be even remotely reasonable and not say shit that's incorrect.
Well, and it's Facebook. They censor everything. Like they check your messages, and by the way, Facebook checks your messages. So
I don't use Facebook. I can't.
Oh, good. Well, I do, and
I started sending them pictures of people with shitting on dinner plates for the fucking ID, and they did not care for that at all.
I bet. So, but yeah, I think I said something that Facebook didn't like, and now it's like, okay. So, if I'm talking to someone on the phone, that's probably for the best. But yeah, I don't trust Facebook. Obviously, don't trust Twitter. I've been my account's been banned from Edmonton Health. Yeah, Edmonton Primary Care Service. Because they posted a picture of a woman wearing a mask and saying, "Remember," because the city I live in is Edmonton. Remember, nice. Edmonton, the mask mandate is in full effect, and remember to wear your mask. And so what I did is I drew a picture of very similar to theirs of a guy, and he's wearing like 4 masks, one over top of each ear, one over the eyes, and one on the face. Yeah. And I said, make sure to. I said the same thing. I said, yeah, make sure you do your part. That's it.
Yeah, I think
that got me in trouble.
Yeah, that could possibly have done it. I think genuinely, like, what do you call it? We need a law that prevents, what do you call it? Social media companies from deleting anything that's not illegal. I don't think they should have any option to remove things because they've created this digital public square. And in the interest of free speech, I don't think they should have the option to remove anything that's not explicitly illegal. So, if something is on the borderline, they don't get to touch it. It has to be, what do you call it, actually illegal. Like, it has to be, if you're not actually calling for, like, terrorist activity, then sorry, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks of what you're doing. You don't get to just take it down anymore. Like, that's what I think. And until that happens, I think we're going to keep having a lot of these same problems.
Yeah.
Especially if you think about it, because it gives a false belief that you're the minority. Because none of the other people who are saying the same shit as you're saying are allowed to say it either. And so it creates an illusion that everybody agrees with these ridiculous, tyrannical nonsense, which you would have thought in Europe was the case if you just looked at Facebook and Twitter. You would think, oh yeah, no, they're totally behind this. They're going to be fine with a vaccine passport, but they're fucking right. They're all protesting. You know?
Yep.
So it is one of those things where it's like, well, shit. Did we lose Deitois, or did he?
Yeah, no, I'm still here.
Oh, he's just being quiet. I just wanted to check. I didn't want to.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
We're all just
I was going to ask, have either of you seen The Witcher on Netflix?
God, I love that.
No.
I love singing the fucking song that guy does in the show on karaoke. That's one of my favorites.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
Toss a coin to your Witcher. Yeah, that one's fucking fun.
Yeah.
That song got stuck in my head for so long. I remember I was walking home from the grocery store and I'm just singing that song like, now I need to hear it.
Yeah, I would love to have that happen with me and finally get that fucking incest song out of my fucking head.
Incest song?
Yeah. Dude.
I think it's best I not know this.
Yeah, well, it was, dude. I'll try to tell the story really quick here, but basically, apparently there's this online group of people that are like VHS tape fanatics, basically, and it really does seem like all of them are autistic. Maybe not, but it seems that way from I've seen their interactions. So, anyways, this other dude, the Stabby, you've seen the video. That black dude had at some point had been in that group and basically had said something about how his cousin was hot and he wanted to fuck her.
Okay.
So
that's not at all
he's
surprising. I'd like to think that wasn't true, but I feel like that's gonna just disappoint me in life in general.
Right, yeah. But basically, he made up that song to kind of fuck with them. And again, the original version was there was no background music. You know what I mean? There's no music. It was just him singing. So one of the people in the group was trying to fuck with him, and I'm not sure why she thought this would work, but basically she decided to put like catchy tune music behind the fucking him singing the song. Which made it, again, incredibly catchy, dude. Like, it's a totally fucked up song, because he's talking about not only incest, but about fucking underage girls. So, God, it's so fucking ridiculous.
No, you gotta be really careful with that stuff.
And not that guy.
Nope.
Although he's black.
I mean,
so
they should probably be checking into his fucking background, just like, hey, by the way... did this motherfucker fuck some kids somewhere? Because, like, he's singing about it, and that's kind of a warning sign.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what that dude's mental issue is, but he definitely has some kind of mental issue. Yeah. But yeah, dude, that whole VHS tape fanatic thing is... Because there's one guy, I can't remember, it was some Disney movie, and he's just ranting and raving about how the British Columbia version of that one is like the worst thing ever. And I'm like, that's so fucking weird to have some like opinion like that and be like angry about, some random weird thing like that. Again, I don't know what the difference is. I just know the dude was really pissed about whatever the difference was in the British Columbia version of, again, I forget the movie. But yeah, it's just, again, all the autism, dude. All the autism in that fucking group.
I can believe that. With that said, though, I mean, like there is something to be said about traditional media. I am surprised at the explosion of VHSs, like and VCRs on eBay right now. There's a lot of it, and
That's fucking nuts.
and I can understand why, because with all the editing going on right now with movies going on Disney Plus, like you can find a classic that you love. I guarantee you they're going to alter it in some way and put it on Disney Plus. And a lot of people, this is their first time seeing it. And like if you watch Dumbo, they take out the crows because that's racially insensitive. They were even talking about removing the kiss from Sleeping Beauty, thinking that it promotes. Yeah, talking about how it promotes rape.
That's
unconsensual.
The whole point was like, that it was a magical fucking cure, not that it was like acceptable to go randomly kiss a fucking sleeping girl.
Yeah, well, current day politics doesn't quite see it that way.
Yeah, like it wasn't promoting that at all. It was like the only thing that can break this terrible spell is the kiss from a prince. How lucky that the prince came along and was willing to brave all of these horrible things, not for the sake of true love, because he wasn't in love with this chick, but because he wanted to save her and her fucking kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Although, dude, as horrible as this would be, what I'm about to say, I think it would be kind of hilarious if they did a remake and the dude gets Me Too'd for kissing her without her consent.
That would actually be interesting. Like, that would be really a funny story, actually. I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh, man.
You never know.
Would be fucking epic.
Could happen. I mean, things are just really weird right now, and nobody trusts Disney because they keep altering things. Not only that,
I've already altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further.
Well, they will. They are gonna alter it further. So
like
they're in
line because it's all the Star Wars shit and everything that's really the problem.
So the other thing that they're talking about is that they want to invest into a company that uses machine algorithm to actually replace and add things into movies, such as advertisements. So, like, if there was a billboard in Dumbo movie, well, if you watch it now, they'll use an algorithm to make it look like put in a modern day Pepsi ad, and just make that work. And they'll do the same thing, like they can remove logos from like the back of jackets or something, and the machine will. Yeah. Like if you want to watch, like let's say you watch Ninja Turtles, and they'll change the pizza boxes in there to be like Domino's, and then if you come back a week later, it'll be Pizza Hut, or Little Caesars, or Papa John's. Like they'll change it. It's like these are movies that are classics, and sometimes the products that are in them are a product of their time, or they'll start adding products in there. So like you'll watch like Dumbo, and you'll see the audience like oohing and awing at what they're seeing, and someone's holding like a box of Cracker Jacks or something, or Doritos. It's like, but they didn't have Doritos back then. Doesn't matter. And so is it no wonder that people want to invest in classic media, because it's untainted. You can buy a VHS of Dumbo. It's untainted. It's pure. It's what it is. So it's actually
we had copies of VHS for a long time of all the original 3 Star Wars films, and it was I was so fucking bummed out when we lost them, because now the only thing you can get is the fucking Greedo shot first, weird fucking rings around all the explosions nonsense.
Yep. And so there'll be a return of traditional media, is what I'm guessing at. I'm a fan of DVDs, because I think DVDs back when they were starting out was far superior, because they tried to make them fun. Like they had interactive menus, they had behind the scenes making of things, documentaries, little featurettes, Like, I fucking love the extra features on DVDs. Nowadays, you don't get that. Nowadays, you get fucking nothing. Like, buying a special edition of a movie meant something.
Yeah,
And
used to mean something.
Used to be, yeah, is the key phrase. Now it's just meh. Like, there's no real difference between like a 4K version and a standard edition. It's all the same thing. And then all the other special features out there are all on YouTube. Like, you want to see an interview with so and so? Well, yeah, that you can get that on there. It's like, what even is the point anymore? Like, DVDs are boring. And even when they made the switch to Blu-rays, that's also boring. I don't fucking care. They don't put anything on these things. And the quality of the Blu-ray isn't all that impressive. So, yeah, I miss old school. I miss old school DVDs. Okay, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes movie isn't the greatest movie, but my god, that DVD is fucking awesome. They filmed scenes like they have a gorilla in souped up in all its armor with a staff, and when you're selecting stuff, they actually film the gorilla moving his staff and pointing to the menu. It's a fully animated interactive DVD. It's like, my god, it's fucking gorgeous. Like, the movie's terrible, but this DVD is good. So yeah, if you've never seen the Planet of the Apes on DVD, I'd say get a copy if you can.
Yeah, it's a shame now how many like terrible films or how many great films are just like not available anymore.
You would think this stuff would be easy because like so many characters in movies have like animated, like 3D animated models. Like, can't you just animate a model to make the DVD look more interactive? Like, do something. I don't know. Like, Disney used to be fabulous when it came to DVDs. Like, I still have Lilo and Stitch on DVD, and that thing, like, they have a great interactive menu with that as well. And not only that, they also have Easter eggs. So if you know where to look, and then the menu can find other things, like, yeah, it's pretty fun. So yeah, I guess old school DVD player would be great to pick up as well, because
it's going to be, sooner or later everything's just going to be like digital on some
Yeah.
platform or another.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be great because digital can be manipulated. Even like watching live broadcasts can be manipulated. Like, I've seen the results of these.
Oh
deep
yeah,
fakes.
I mean they can do some crazy shit.
Like, I've seen what people can do with deep fakes, and it's terrifying. It looks so fucking good and realistic. Like, I could believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I saw one with Jim Carrey's face on what's his name from The Shining, like on the father, I forget the actor's name, but on his face from The Shining, and that thing looks spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. And it's not just like from the visuals; they also have deep fakes of people's voices. So, honestly, I'm just sort of wondering, because Joe Biden is the way that he is. Like, someone could make a deep fake of Joe Biden, voice and visuals and everything. I don't think anyone would be able to tell the difference.
Nope.
So
you could really genuinely like really fuck up like somebody's like campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fucking nutty the shit you can get away with digitally now.
Yep. And even if something is fake and people can tell that it's fake, or at least like certain people know how to do it, the average society might not know and recognize, so they'll hear something and they'll think, oh, that's awful, even though it's not real. And even if you manage to prove it otherwise, some people won't really hear that part. They'll just get the outrage.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
with
ridiculous. Well, and it's like sort of like how you can go and apologize like after the fact for like a false report.
Wait 15.
Yeah. Well, like, look at Project Veritas. They've sued and won every time. Like, every time someone prints an article about them or tells a story, they will sue and they win, and they will print a retraction. But by then, it's already a little too late. there was like millions of articles and stuff talking about Project Veritas,
Yeah.
and they can only do so much. And there's a lot of information out there, and people think that they're fake unless you came on early on and you know that they're a whistleblower company. Then you wouldn't know this. So yeah, I think their reputation's been damaged. I think they're still obviously they're still credible because I've been aware of them since the beginning, or at least early on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Project Veritas is really, really good at getting into and infiltrating these groups. It's like fucking amazing.
Investigative reporting, God, it's such a lost art.
Yeah. Well, and it's amazing how incredibly what do you call it? How incredibly easy it seems for them to do it. Like, these people are so fucking incompetent. You know, like, it's like they can never really accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Like that they don't see it coming every single time, and all Project Veritas does is be like, all right, you make yourself look kind of gross, and then just, you know, chant pro Biden and we'll win. You'll get in, nobody will know it's you, it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times they get in because they tend to hire attractive looking women.
Oh, that's a smart way to go.
Yeah,
women are the best, man. Women are really good at fucking being spies. Like, they're a lot fucking.
And a lot of these guys are real easy to find. Like, you hire attractive looking women, and they start up a Tinder account, and Tinder. Yeah. All these people are on Tinder. You just go on there and then you match. You go on dates, and these guys.
As long as you're willing to take a fucking shot in the mouth for the team, you can pretty much guarantee you're getting in.
Well, and a lot of these guys will just spill the beans on everything because they think it makes them look cool and important.
To be fair, you're right. She might not even have to actually, you know, take a fucking shot in the mouth.
Well, like
all she'd have to do is just like intimate that she might talk to him nice, and he'll probably tell her all the shit she wants to know.
Like she actually met up with a guy. There was a woman who met up with a guy on CNN, and the guy spilled the beans on everything. He was like a director. And he said, "Oh yeah, the the numbers are gangbusters for ratings," and like the guy just spilled. Except he thinks he's looking cool. Like, I'm so important, I can actually manipulate the election. Look how fucking powerful.
Yeah, that's a real dangerous fucking thing to think.
And that's what these people think as well. So
yeah,
we got a little bit of a god complex going on there. So, but Project Veritas has been doing real good. I don't know. They never show us what the women look like, and I think that's a good thing because they probably want to use them a few more times to get into other places. But yeah, women are fucking scary. They can get in and get all the information. And I think about myself like that wouldn't work on me. And I think about the women I talk to. Fuck, I do tell them everything, don't I? Fuck, women are dangerous.
Yeah. You know, actually, I can actually get people to talk a lot more than you might think. Like, it's not hard to get people to talk. Really, you can literally get people to talk by just being quiet. It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, it depends on the type of person. I mean, if someone's like in a high ranked position, then yeah, hopefully they can keep a secret.
Oh man, this is a terrible team. What do I do?
Lose.
Yeah, probably.
Forfeit.
I mean, it is what it is. You know, I'm not gonna like fucking shoot myself in the fucking leg here. I'm trying. I'm having to be DPS and healing at the same time. I need to switch characters because it's not gonna work. I'm playing Overwatch.
Oh, okay.
I have the sound almost off, so I'm not playing it very well. Like, I doubt anyone on the thing can really hear much if there's anybody paying attention.
Fair enough.
You know.
Did you take any? Yeah. I remember playing one game because I only ever play Reaper because he's the only one I'm ever good at.
Oh, really?
And,
I fucking hate you already. I hate you. I hate you, you fucking bastard.
Oh yeah.
That's the one character I really don't like playing against. I'm good with everybody else, even like Pharaoh, which everybody seems to hate. And it's one character I can't play.
See, with Reaper's the only one I'm actually good at playing, or relatively good at playing. Everyone else I'm fucking terrible at.
Yeah.
So I that's why I always play Reaper. But I remember playing one game and I chose Reaper, and one guy was fucking losing his shit because he's like, he only plays Reaper. It's like, well, you have to play something else.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that play only one character in that game, though. That's like a normal fucking thing for Overwatch.
Exactly.
It's called having a main.
Exactly. And so, like, if you can't get your character, well, then try someone else. I mean, like, I'll play something else, and then next game, hopefully I'll get Reaper. That's it. I mean, it's just a fucking game. It's not a big deal. This guy was losing his shit, and so what he did is he chose Mei, and he just kept trolling the whole team.
I fucking hate that shit. So every time I've tried to play, in the last couple of seasons, tried to play actual competitive, which is nice because in Overwatch there's a fuck ton of cheaters, but they're almost all in quick play. Like, you almost never see them in competitive. It's extremely rare to find, like, an aimbot in competitive compared to, like, quick play.
Right.
But every time I try to play...
a lot.
Huh?
I said that does explain a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate because every time I've had people throw games on my team because they'll get mad for some reason. So, like, literally, like, I have, like, 4 matches to qualify or something, and, like, 3 out of 4 matches I'll lose because one person on the team, like, did Mei and started trolling the team because they were mad. Or did fucking, what do you call it? You know, whatever it is, like, they threw the game. They basically just, like, gave up and didn't really try all that hard to win because they were like, fuck it, you guys are assholes, I want to lose. And then the 4th one we lose because, you know, just, like, people are dumb sometimes.
Yeah, when people want to troll, they pick Mei, and I'm playing that game, and the guy's on the speaker, he's on the mic, and he's just bitching and whining, and he's trying to get. It's like, I'm gonna get this fucking asshole off my main, and
yeah,
and I just don't respond. I do not respond. I just try to play the game. He puts it the wall, I'll shoot the wall, hopefully I can get through the wall, or I'll run around it.
If somebody's polite and asks me, because I don't have a main like you do, I play a lot of different characters, like mediocre. I'm not really ever going to be like the best fucking Overwatch player, like ever, unless I'm playing on a team of noobs.
Yeah.
So I don't give a shit, but if they're polite and they ask like, hey, I really don't know how to play anyone else very well, could you, give me this character, or, hey, that's my main, would you mind letting me play it? Sure. I'll fucking change. But the minute you come at me like, hey, get off my fucking character, that's mine. All right, we're never going to change it, and I don't care if we lose anymore. I'm not going to try to throw like some people, but I'm sure as shit not going to like really worry if you're throwing the game at that point. Because you have a little temper tantrum.
Yep.
It's like the people who get mad because we're losing and getting rolled, and they're like, oh, it's the healer's fault, or it's this person's fault. Hey, it's the team's fault, man. It's what it means to play on a team. You win and you lose the team. But sure, once in a while, there's actually like a, like it's one particular player's trolling, like the Mei person, like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really not all that common. It's usually... It's usually the team failed together as a group.
Like, there's always, like, you always have to think about the composition if you want to win. But, like, if I'm doing quick play...
Composition matters, like, to a certain extent.
Sure. I mean, there has to be, like, something to make it work.
Why am I fucking backing the team off? Where are my tanks?
But for me, when I was playing, like, there was always, like, if you're doing quick play, it's almost always DPS. It's like everywhere there's DPS.
I prefer support. I can play Moira as DPS. I'm exceptionally good with Moira compared to the rest of the team.
See, I never got around to playing most of the other ones. Although, granted, my brother played most of the time, so it's like, yeah. What's
Yep.
up for him?
If you have even one person on your team, you could really clean house. You could do a lot of fucking damage if you have one person playing with you as a genuine team. Yep, that's exactly what happens when you overextend yourself as DPS. Or not as DPS, as support. You can't fucking solo 5 people as a DPS.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I did my Reaper. I always get in. Of course, I think I get maybe a little too addicted to the whole play of the game thing because I got really good at the whole sneaking up on people and then doing my Death Blossom. I love it when I get a whole team kill. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's such a fucking badass team kill.
There was a fucking round where I literally took the whole game as Moira. Like, my team was just so fucking terrible that I was like, fuck it.
Yep.
Oh, no.
What, going?
No, that was just Reinhardt made a real good fucking play and took out one of my guys.
There you go.
I was like, well, you know what? I want to be mad, but Ryan, that was a fucking mad, fucking spectacularly well done play.
I'm already Tracer. Fuck, that
Oh,
sounds
yeah, I'm
like...
already Tracer. Oh, that was so fucking dumb.
That's fucking everywhere. It didn't help. There was a goddamn TikTok meme. you take it and people just take the audio and do their own little clips like fuck. And the song just died. It didn't help that the fucking singer was a really good singer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I would say they were really good. There was definitely good quality there, but...
Mm-hmm. Good enough quality.
Yeah, right now I have gold healing and gold eliminations as Moira. Like, I'm killing more people than anyone else on the team. Like, I wonder why we're losing. And I have silver damage. Which is fucking ridiculous as a support.
Because your team's a bunch of clowns. That's why.
Yeah, I'm doing more healing and more damage than almost everybody else on the team, and I'm support. And I shouldn't be really doing anything but healing.
So do you think Overwatch is going to get better over time, what with all the controversy going on?
Nah, Overwatch is always going to suck. I just kind of like the cartoony aspect of it.
Well, you see, the guy
is anybody in chat. I don't know. I haven't looked in chat for a minute.
No, just me.
Okay,
I never said nothing. You're fine.
Okay, I was worried. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like ignoring anybody who might be in there, like, you know, Mad Metal Man or the few people that do show up. Rotten Silence and Nacho Damas. And...
Nope, no one's there.
All right, I'm just going to really try to heal my team and see if they can make something happen here.
Right. And maybe after the game, we should probably call her quits. It's like almost 1 a.m. for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, are you the only one left on the stream? So we usually go for about half an hour, like more, like just till midnight. But if you want to...
Yeah, I'm here. I just have no experience with Overwatch, so I'm not saying much.
Oh, fair enough,
I'm here, though.
Yeah, we can always change the topic back to something.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just... you know, you can keep talking about it. I'm just letting you know why. That's why I'm not saying anything.
Oh, I'm also saying, like, Samaj, you know, if you need to take off, like, that's totally fine. But we usually only go for about another half hour before we're, like, done.
Yeah, usually midnight my time. You know.
Right, it's almost 1 my time. I am tired. I should probably head off to bed.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
you gotta take care of yourself, man. You can't.
Well, I've been trying to go to bed earlier, so I'm in bed by 10. so this is quite past my bedtime. But the other thing that gets me, I've been waking up at 5 in the morning because my cat insists on getting me up. Now, granted, it's nice and hot out, so he's probably gonna be outside all night. But winter's coming.
Yeah.
He'll be indoors all the time. That's forever.
Yes, that's right. Winter is coming.
You got like another month or so. It's like this is gonna fucking suck. So that's the one thing. But also, I've been getting into the habit because I've been taking gaming's advice and doing a low carb diet to try and So like
don't do keto. I would not recommend keto. There's a lot of people that really push keto as like this fucking one magical cure-all thing, and it's really not a great diet. Like it works, you'll survive, but like I didn't need potassium supplements until I went on keto. You know what I'm saying? But low carb is really a good idea.
The low carb, the low carb, I'll do in the morning. It took me a while to come up with something good. Is I'll have like a can of tuna, I'll fry it, and I'll do like 3 scrambled eggs and 3 slices of cheese, just for variety, I guess. So that's been my mornings for a while, and I gotta tell you, the tuna, I fucking hate it. It took me a while to find something good because, like, I drizzled it a little bit with like lemon juice because that's what I usually do if I had like salmon. Like I'll cook it, I'll do some lemon juice, and apparently the lemon juice overpowers the tuna.
Yes,
because it was very lemony, and it was gross. Salt and pepper, not very much. So it wasn't until recently I started putting teriyaki sauce on it. Fucking delicious.
Teriyaki sauce is my fucking go-to. So I put together these bento boxes, and I put like a half a cup of rice in each because I wanted some carbohydrates because I didn't want to have no energy at all. Because I'm not going to just like make energy like I would on keto out of meat. But just a little bit of teriyaki is very little in the way of like adding calories to your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fucking flavorful. Like teriyaki soy sauce. Come here, baby boy. Teriyaki is just like 5 calories for like a tablespoon of fucking delicious flavor.
It makes it a lot better. It makes the tuna go down easy.
Yes.
And
I also like ranch flavoring if you can get. So Walmart. I don't know if they have Walmart. Like,
yes, we have Walmart.
Like an equivalent. I'm sure they have Walmart. I just didn't know if they had like a what do you call it? Like a dedicated fucking like actual Walmart store. Has flavored popcorn flavoring things that are like 0 calories, but will really add a lot of fucking punch to anything you want.
Oh yeah.
That's the way to go, dude. If you want to add like some flavor to tuna or anything like that, the popcorn flavorings do really good because you can get like ranch or cheese or fucking barbecue or whatever, and they're also good on popcorn if you like popcorn. I fucking hate popcorn. But you can put them on like tuna. You can put them with some plain rice or some crackers and just jazz up any meal without adding a lot of calories to it.
See, I have a friend, and she bought a couple of those like flavor enhancing packets, but apparently these were packets for craft dinner. And then what you do is you make your craft dinner and then you sprinkle it on top, and it'll add extra flavors. And some of them were fine. Like one of them was like jalapeno. One was cheddar, one was barbecue sauce. I thought, okay, that sounds interesting.
Ooh.
But then the last one she told me, fucking disgusted me. It was it was cotton candy.
Oh, that's a bad choice.
I'm like, okay, cotton candy. That's the flavor. But she said, yeah, you make your craft dinners. You usually would with cheese sauce and like the powder and everything, but then you add sprinkling of the cotton candy flavoring.
No,
and I thought that I thought
that hurts me in the heart.
I didn't know that such a thing existed. I'm like, yeah, oh no, thank you. But yeah, she I was supposed to go over to her place, and she was gonna do like a little sampling for her and her friends, like this. That way we can all try it out. It's a little mac and cheese party, if you will. But I I didn't end up going because one of her friends going there was her Asian friend, and apparently Asian people are super paranoid about people who are unvaccinated. So, and I'm not unvaccinated. So if I go, she's not going, and she hasn't seen this friend in years. So I'm like, well, okay, fine, just go. So, yeah.
Yeah, that'll put a damper on things.
Yeah,
People are flipping shit because you either believe in the science or you don't. Like, that's the part that I don't understand. This concept that like the vaccines protect us, but only if everybody has them, is fucking insane. Like, it does not make sense. That's not like they either do work or they don't. And if they do work, then you have nothing to fear.
Right.
What are you stressing out about?
Exactly. Like, what's the problem here? There's been a lot of that whole misinformation going around, and people are super scared and paranoid, and I think that's because of the media drumming everything up. And I think the government doesn't help because they don't really give clear answers, like because they're forever changing. Like I said, they said at the beginning 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and it's been a year and a half,
which was a fucking absolute lie.
Yeah, and then they say if you get the vaccine, you're 100% protected. You don't have to worry about anything. But then they get it, and they say, yeah, you still have to wear masks. Oh, now you need boosters, and now you need like these 2 pills a day. Like, the goalposts keep changing.
Yeah, there's never a consistent story of what you need to do to be safe because they don't want you to feel safe.
Yeah. Well, and the information is not correct. Like, for instance, our chief medical expert here in Canada is a woman by the name of Theresa Tam. She should be fired because she's woefully incompetent.
Like Fauci?
Like Fauci, yeah, in a lot of ways. In fact, she works for the same company as Fauci. So I'm like, yeah, that says a lot right there. But every month, she does the presentation, and she gives her forecast as to what she predicts the cases are going to be like. And she gives the exact same answer. There's going to be a surge in cases. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to get sick, and there's obviously people who are going to die. Yep. We need to take extra precautions. She gives all the same thing. And if you look at the numbers, she's wrong. The numbers go down, and not that many people get hospitalized. So it goes down and down and down. But she gives the exact same answer. Huge cases, blah, 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 huge surge, people are going to be hospitalized. Nothing. All this time, nothing. She has been wrong 100% of the time. So why does she still have a job? She should be fired. But that would be something that a competent news media would say. But they don't ask that question because they're all bought and paid for by the Trudeau liberals.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I don't trust the media. You cannot trust the media.
No, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
Here's the part that gets me. I don't know when this shift happened. When people started to trust, like one or the other side of the government. Like, I even kind of was getting into it myself for a while there. Like, I was super fucking left wing and then super fucking right wing for a while, and now it's like, obviously, like, finally I fucking clued in, and it's like, yeah, they're all lying sacks of shit. None of them are on my side. Like, what was I smoking?
I think, I think, yeah, you just want to be on one, like, because I was just like you doing that and thinking, but I never once thought, I guess I'm a conservative now. Yeah. I stuck to my whole liberal beliefs, and I still do. I think deep down I'm still a liberal, but I think that what's happened to the Liberal Party is so fucked up. I can't abide by it. Yeah. So I'm probably going to be voting conservative for the next couple of elections. If the Liberal Party would start saying stuff I agree with, like pro freedom of speech, which the Liberal Party here in Canada is very anti.
I don't care what they say. If they started doing things that were pro freedom of speech.
Well, yeah. I mean, so long as my values are being represented, I don't care. But my values have not been represented.
So,
And
like,
so
there's a few people in government right now who I kind of am okay with, and that's about it. Sadly, the one guy left. Oh, what was his name? He's like the older, like the gray-haired guy, Troy McGowdy.
Oh, Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy.
Yeah. That guy was pretty fucking cool. Just because he was entertaining as shit. I know you fucking hate Ted Cruz, but he's goddamn entertaining to watch as a speaker. He's really fucking good as a speaker.
well,
And he
okay.
just
Yeah,
fucking
ever
hands
since,
people their asses verbally over and over and over, like to a fucking ridiculous fucking extent.
Yeah,
Well-
I don't really hate him anymore. The beard did a pretty decent job of making his face look much less punchable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
So, yeah.
okay. The problem I have with Ted Cruz is that you're right, he does these great, excellent speeches and they sound fantastic.
Yeah, he just doesn't like
But-
really do anything. Like he's
Yeah.
really cool.
But he won't do anything to promote, let's say, like actual change. He'll sound great, but he doesn't do anything. On top of all that, there's footage of him, bumping fists and all that with all these Democrats and other people. So it's like, are you just saying this to sound intimidating or sound cool? Because yeah, he sounds cool, but I mean, like, come on, when you're fist bumping and like giving the high fives to the Democrats,
Yeah, it's
I'm
all
like,
for show. I don't agree with him because he just doesn't do anything like worthwhile politically at all. Really, like at the end of the day. Trey Gowdy. Yeah, that's okay. I heard Gray Gowdy when you were saying it, Day 12. My bad.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
I knew it was really, really close, and I was like, oh, okay, I can agree with this.
yeah.
But then it was like,
Yeah, I gotcha. No worries.
yeah. So
There's a few other like politicians I really liked, like some of the ones who were going like toe to toe with Fauci.
yes,
Was it Jim Jordan? I think that's his name. That guy, love that guy. There was the other guy who's actually has a doctorate before he was a doctor before he became a senator. Was also challenging Fauci. I can't remember his.
Yeah,
What's
Rand
it?
Paul.
Thank you, Rand Paul. That guy, great, love that guy.
yeah.
Hell, I remember watching the
Rand
one
Paul
where
and Trey Gowdy and Troy. Yeah, that'd probably be the only three I can actually tolerate. I do like. Oh, there's that one, like hot Democrat chick. I like her because she'll actually vote like on the other side on occasion when it's the correct thing to do.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, I think you're
Yeah.
thinking
She'll change her fucking vote. She's not just gonna like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll just give up on this.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
just
you know
let
what?
it, go party lines. She's like, no, I don't agree with that, so I'm gonna go on the other side of it. On some of it, and it's kind of nice to. It's kind of nice that somebody will actually cross the fucking line and have discussions with the other side and try to find common ground.
That's
Oh,
why
I
I
sound
like
Steven Crowder. Oh, fucking, that made me want to fucking puke in my mouth.
But yeah, that's why I really like Joe Manchin from West Virginia. Again, he's a Democrat, but he'll vote basically the way all of them should, and he basically votes to represent his constituency.
Yeah.
Because that's a very conservative state, and he's a Democrat.
Yep. It's like anybody who's willing to actually do, toe the line and actually think for themselves for even half a fucking second. I mean, like if that's what I want. I want people that are going to make compromises, that are going to say, look, this is what my constituents want. This is what your constituents want. What if we do X, Y, or Z, and it gives us a little bit of, a little bit of fucking,
Representation.
yeah, it's like it.
I thought it was going back to the whole. I think it was Jim Jordan, like really digging into Fauci there, and someone did they did a close up on Fauci's hands. He's shaking like a fucking leaf.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. And like,
Fauci is in felony fucking prison territory right now with the funding that lab. Like that's serious fucking business.
well, that and the fact that he was proven that he liked. He said, "We are not funding gain of function," even though they find out all this evidence and proof. Like, yeah, you clearly are. That's an obvious lie, and lying to the House is like punishable by 5 years in jail. So they're talking about bringing.
It's not only is that an obvious lie, what you were doing was illegal.
Yep, and so they're talking about bringing them up on criminal charges. I'm like, that would be fucking awesome. So yeah. Anyway, I'm off to bed.
You should probably hit the fucking sack, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were thinking.
I don't know either. All right. Good night. Bye.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely.
Boy.
Letting me just fucking go on and on. I appreciate that.
All right.
Where did you go?
No, I was just walking outside.
No, I'm sorry. Somebody
Mom.
fucking disappeared. You know what I mean? Like,
can you hear me? Am I coming through?
Hear you. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
I occasionally am getting distracted. I would have canceled the game when I was like the only one there, but
yeah, no big deal, dude. Kind of doing shit too, so I am also a little.
We're all pretty fucking close to the end here.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Ooh, but yeah, that shit with Biden, again, actually, like, saying that they're telling him to call on specific people. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder if he's not supposed to mention that fact. I can't imagine they would tell him to, like, yeah, go out there and tell him you were told to call on certain people. You know what I mean? That sounds incredibly unlikely. So he's just a fucking dumbass that doesn't realize he shouldn't be sharing that. Fucking says it every time.
Yeah, I don't understand. Biden has said a lot of shit that's like fucking incriminating.
Yeah. You would think he'd call for his job or something.
The only way that he gets like his job gone is, I mean, he'd have to be impeached.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't look like he's going to step down on his own.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to get impeached. I don't think there's enough of a Republican presence to do it, because I don't see it happening unless it's the Republicans and the Democrats working together. I don't see the Democrats willing to, because he's doing exactly what the CCP wants. Like he's following the communist party line.
Right. They're the globalist bottom line. Yeah. But yeah, it's still fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, it's sad.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the media just kind of lets them get away with it.
Yep. Well, it's not just the media. It's the very small select group of wealthy folks that are.
Right, yeah, kind of dictating what everybody else is fucking doing. Saying,
yeah, pretty much.
Or what voices can be heard, yeah.
Oh, that's why this guy's doing so good. Okay, he's got an aimbot. Sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, fuck, dude. I don't understand the appeal of the fucking, like, cheating, dude. Like, do you really feel like you accomplished something if you fucking cheat?
Yeah.
I never understood
it either.
that.
It makes no sense to me. Like, me personally, I wouldn't want to cheat. I don't want the completely inability to lose. They're not going to win either way. I mean, it doesn't matter if he's an aimbot. It's just, that explains why he was doing so good while fucking so terribly positioned.
Right.
Oh,
Like, yeah, nobody can pull these shots off. Yeah.
No. No. I mean, you're doing exactly what you should be doing, and I appreciate that, but no. I finally managed. My both teams were really terrible, and I finally managed.
Kick some ass single-handedly.
I finally managed to get some fucking. What do you call it?
Points.
Like a good position. The correct position I'm supposed to be in is behind my team, while they're taking all the fucking damage, and I'm just cleaning shit up and keeping them alive.
Right. But they're not letting you do it, huh?
Yeah, no. They were just. They're so there's a thing called a dive team, and there's a thing called like a shield team. Like there's teams that just like get up there and like shield everything and let their DPS do the damage, and then there's teams that are dive teams. And this was a guy who's Reinhardt, who's just a giant fucking shield trying to be a dive guy. And so it's like, I can't keep you alive if you 1v6 their team on the reg and just dive in.
Yeah. If you're playing as that character or whatever, that character type, yeah, you're just screwing shit up by not playing it the way you should.
And then we had two elements of a really good shield team, which is a Bastion who just pours damage out, but he can't move when he's doing it. Like he's stationary. So you really can only use him if you've got somebody just standing in front of him with a shield. So if you're going to have a Bastion and you're going to play Reinhardt and you're not going to do the shield, you're basically just shooting yourself in the face. Because then your Reinhardt's going out, your Bastion can't do the damage, he's just getting taken out quick. It's playing exact opposite of what you would want to play strategy-wise. And then the fucking Bastion wouldn't let me heal him and use my ability to keep him from like being able to be killed for a good amount of time. So he wasn't taking full advantage of that, even though he wasn't shielded, and just doing the damage he needed to do, which I could have kept him going because the other team was so bad. Right. So it was just like, it was by the teeth of the skin of our fucking teeth, and it was really obnoxious.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not so much you're fighting to see who's going to win more, but who's going to lose less.
If you're doing support correct, yes. Like, I'm not trying to kill anybody. I don't care if I'm killing people. I try to damage shields. I try to do damage on anybody who's diving in to fuck with me and the other support. Preferably fast. Get them out of there quick. And I try to keep my tanks up. And then if I can help the DPS, I will. If I'm playing support and the tank is real shit, I might just, pocket the fucking DPS and let them do some real damage. Like really just keep them alive and give up on the tank, let him die. Like he's just going to keep dying. So there's just no reason for me to waste my time on him and waste my resources and die with him. When I can just keep, like say we got a really good sniper, maybe I just keep the sniper going and they can do all the damage and then that tank can just fuck off. Go find a health pack, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's just wasting your time and fucking what do you call it?
Yeah, it's like one time we have support are basically like glass. They're not going to take a lot of damage. You can't dive in. They're all fairly hard to hit. Like they all have fairly small character or hitboxes. So you can kind of dance around a little bit, but you can't 1v6 the other team.
Yeah, it sounds a little tough.
So and I've seen literally like some of the weakest support possible just break out their little tiny wannabe pistol and just dive into like all six of the other team, and I'm like, well, we're losing this game. Support is just like, I got this. Dies immediately. And then every time you die, you're out for like I think 15 seconds or about. So you're really fucking your team when you die.
Yeah.
And then of course, because they can heal, everybody wants to kill the support first. So if you're playing support, you really have to just not be in the line of fire. Unless you're Moira. Moira is like the one exception to all of these rules. Because She has sort of like you don't actually have to be able to aim with Moira. She kind of locks on. She doesn't shoot a projectile. She just sucks health out of them, and then she gains health. So you can actually take a lot more damage as Moira. And if you're, moving around enough, you could probably 1v6 the other team for a good minute or two, unless they're, decent. Not that I would. I'm just saying you could.
Right.
Like, if it's 3 seconds to go, and if you don't dive on the point, the other team's gonna win. It's worth it to try to 1v6's Moira just to hold the line until your team can all get there and take over for you. But that's probably the only situation in which that's the case. I don't know. The whole team games I really enjoy because there's so much more than just running around and shooting at people.
Oh, right.
So I kind of get into those a lot.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of the online shit like that. Mostly what I did back in the day, I played a lot of the Nazi Zombies maps on Call of Duty games.
Oh yeah, no, I love the shooter games, like the other shooter games when you're not playing against other people and you're playing against like bots and stuff. That's so much fun. I get such a kick out of those, like Halo and Call of Duty and what's the there's a bunch of other ones that I can't think of.
No, that's fine. I get you. Yeah, I'm spacing out of these too. There's a bunch of them. I can't think of any of them. Yeah, that's another one that's basically the Nazi zombie ones is the one that's again basically 4 of you against the zombies.
Yeah, and anytime you get to kill zombies, I'm in.
Right. Yeah. But all it takes is one person that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing to fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's exactly how Overwatch works. So, one of the issues is they introduced a fast pass. So the vast majority of Overwatch players always want to play DPS. So when you're looking for a game, if you're playing support or you're playing a tank, it usually takes about 30 seconds to match up into a team. If it even takes that long. But if you're playing DPS, you could be looking at like 7 to 10 minutes. It's not uncommon. Right? That's a pretty normal amount of time that you're going to have to wait. And so they introduced Fast Pass, which is supposed to make you get into teams quicker as DPS, but you can only earn Fast Passes by playing support and tanks. So there are a lot of DPS that'll play as one or the other and just throw. Like, they don't care. They're just going to let the team roll them. Because they're just trying to build up that Fast Pass as quick as they can and go back to playing DPS quicker.
Yeah.
So it's really, really tough to keep those ones alive. But really satisfying to make the game last as long as possible by doing so.
Right. Yeah. Stretch that shit out.
It's like, nope, I'm not letting you die so quick. You're stuck with me now, bitch.
There's no escape.
None whatsoever. It's a shame I can't get Satan and what's that communist guy? Lyman, yeah. I can't remember. I can't know why I can't remember his name. I've talked to that dude all the time. Like I've played games with him a bunch. It's a shame I can't get them into Overwatch because they just get so mad and don't like it. To be fair, I get all fucking. I can't fucking stand Paladins as much as I can stand Overwatch. But it's a similar game. But I'd love to see them play Overwatch because I could probably keep them up a lot longer in Overwatch and help them win a lot more games as support than I could in Paladins. Like a substantially larger amount. I need a team. And then, of course, I got that fucking... I don't know if you saw that video I posted, the fucking base tour in Conan Exiles.
Yeah, I don't think I did. I must have missed that one.
It literally takes 8 minutes to tour the base from one side to the other.
God damn, that's fucking huge.
Yeah, and I built that on a standard server with no like modifications or any of that shit. Like, it's just straight up. I built it all on the standard game, which takes a lot longer than any other way. Let's see here. Oh, it's 7 minutes and 46 seconds.
Mm.
And oh god, it's ridiculous. Oh, there we go. I'll put a different thumbnail up on there. That was a much better looking one. But if you get a chance, to take a look, because it's a really so. Conan Exiles is really broken in a lot of ways.
All right.
But it's still a fun game. I just wouldn't recommend anyone buy it. Because it's like you're just asking for like all these fucking things that don't work correctly, and there's like a ton of shit you got to learn. Like you can kidnap and enslave other like random AIs.
All
So
right.
like there's a lot of humans that are in there, and you can kidnap and enslave any of them pretty much.
Interesting.
And then you can use them either to craft like better things or craft things faster by putting them on your crafting bench. So they'll work for you as your blacksmith or your armor smith or, you know, whatever, your alchemist who makes your potions for you.
Right.
Or you can place them as warriors if you get the right ones, and they can like fight for you. So like they'll go out and kill things for you because you're kind of a pussy in that game. No matter what, there's really not any way for you to be able to like solo that game without thralls. You gotta catch these guys and turn them into warriors for you. So as long as you got one of those going, they're great. But there's like all these weird things about it. Like if you have a dancing thrall, they only work about half the time. Like half the time they'll attack and kill your enemies for you, and the other half the time they'll just stand there and watch you die with their hands up. Like they'll just put their hands up like they're gonna punch this motherfucker, even though they got like a set of knives on them. And just watch you die and do absolutely nothing, like half the fucking time. So they're basically useless. So if you never played the game, you might think, oh, I got this named dancer. I'm going to use him because he's the best one I've got so far. And then you're just going to fucking die like half the fucking game. And then
standing there. Damn, that's nuts. So they're standing there like their arm cocked back, like they're going to throw a punch, but they just never.
And then they just never do anything. They don't pull their weapon out. Because you give him a weapon, they'll give him, like, if you have an archer thrall, you give him a bow, he'll pull out his bow and, like, shoot arrows at the fucking guys. If you have a dancer, he'll pull out a set of daggers. I mean, they'll use whatever weapon you have, but, like, the best for him, like, is the knives. They'll use the knives and take out the enemies. But they're basically just there to remove corruption, so they didn't bother to actually program them correctly or ever fix them. And then the really annoying one is you get the warrior thralls who are supposed to use, like, a sword, and then you have, like, two-handed weapons, which are usually what you end up putting on them, because if you give them a one-handed weapon, they don't do as much damage. And you can't give them a shield because they won't use it, or they'll just stop attacking and do the same thing as the dancer thralls if you put a shield on them. And it's one of those things, if you didn't know that the shield was glitched out and didn't work, you'd never have figured out that you gotta fucking take it off of them so that they'll actually attack with that one-handed weapon again.
Yeah, that's bizarre, dude.
Like I only found out because one of the guys in the fucking server I was chatting with him on the text thing, and I was like, my guy just stands there all the fucking time and watches me die. Do you have a shield on him? I was like, fucking yes, of course. And he's like, that's your problem. I was like, son of a bitch. Oh man. Oh, I did find a really good podcast.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of fun to listen to in the background. They don't really get too much into political shit, and when they do, they're kind of like sort of in the middle, like us. They're not. They don't share all of our opinions. Like they have different opinions on some of the stuff. Some of them are a little more left, some of them are a little more right, depending on who's on the show.
Right.
But it's the guy that was FPS Russia. And I don't know who the other guy is, but I think he's Woody's gamer tag. And those are the two guys that are on there every time, and then they just have random like guests on. And they'll just talk about shit like professional paintball, or they'll talk about fucking movies or comic books or YouTube shit, or like they had the guy from Epic Mealtime on, Harley,
All right.
the guy that was like the big beard guy who was in the lead person on that whole thing. And they just talked about all the Epic Mealtime shit and what he's doing now. Now that the Epic Mealtime is kind of defunct, not really a popular channel anymore. And he's like, he does a lot of Twitch gaming to make his money, and he still makes a living off of like streaming and stuff on Twitch and on YouTube.
All right.
But it's hilarious. Like he was talking about, like people will show up just to fucking mock him. Like, aha, your channel's dead. You're a fucking loser. You failed. Blah blah blah. And he's like, man, I don't understand like how I can explain this in any other way, like how little this bothers me, because they wish they could fail at my level because I still make a living playing video games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Kinda,
That's
kinda
probably
sad.
that's more similar to the guy the main guy from Film Cow, Jason Steele.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really make it's very rare that he puts out any kind of new video, but almost nightly he'll stream himself playing some old school game like from the Dreamcast or
Yeah.
like the 3DO, some random pure.
Oh, that's really smart. Yeah, get like a niche game. You'll definitely get an audience for like niche games like that.
Yeah, like almost all the games are like.
And it'll be
like
a steady audience. It won't be a huge one. Like you're not going to fucking get PewDiePie numbers, but you'll more than make a living off of it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what he does now. Yeah. Although I wish he put out more videos, because his fucking videos are hilarious, dude.
Agreed, sir. But it'd be like if you went to his channel to make fun of him. It's like he's like, I get paid enough to live off of playing video games every night. Like, you wish you could fail this good.
Yeah. Yeah, and every once in a while he'll put out the occasional video like those our controller families, and he'll like say who in the family the controller is from whatever system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's fucking hilarious. I wish he'd do more of that shit, but
whatever. Yeah, he posted a bunch of that stuff on
in the Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, my YouTube has been kind of fucked up lately. It doesn't I just constantly get mostly under a minute videos. And it'll just continue to send me the same ones no matter how many times I say I'm not interested.
Right.
And I don't know why. It's like I have to actually block channels at this point. Because you can like right click on the video at the right spot and you can either like block, like say not interested in this video, or you can say like block recommendations from this channel. Like, I hate blocking recommendations from a channel, but if it's the only way to stop getting, like, constant barrage of 45-second videos, then I'm absolutely going to do it, because I don't want to watch, like, 45-second videos. I want to watch, like, a 10-minute at least thing.
Yeah, and I assume that's why they recommend those, is because they can play more videos.
Well, they can play more videos, they can get more commercials in, and then also they can prevent, I think they've realized that long-form videos are how conservatism spread. The more people get to sit down and listen to logical breakdowns of stuff like that, the more likely they are to, like, agree with the point. It's not just buzzwords and catchphrases like they use in a lot of the propaganda for communism. Because it's like, you go and they're like, yay, Kamala Harris. Well, what did she accomplish? Like, we don't know. But yay. You know what I mean? Or I shouldn't say conservatism so much, it's just realizing, like, how fucking corrupt the system is for a lot of people. Although there's still a lot of people that are just stuck in that sort of, like, right-left fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit's so fucking... Like you were saying earlier, man, it's the shit that they allegedly differ on between the Democrats and Republicans is kind of shit that doesn't really matter a whole lot. They're mainly in agreement on
they all claim they want to fix the same set of problems.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all been there for like 40 plus years. Like Like, at what point do you stop buying into the game that they're going to actually solve the problems they tell you? Because if they genuinely wanted to solve those problems, they would have, at a long time ago, sat down and said, all right, we're going to just try your way for 5 years. If that doesn't work, we're going to try our way for 5 years and see what gets better results. And then we're going to follow whichever one does better. That was what a rational person would do. Even if it meant for 5 years you didn't get your way, at the end of that 5 years, you try the other way, and if it's really successful, then you get your way. If it's not, and that their way was super successful, then that's how it goes. You're a rational person. You would accept that.
Yeah. It's definitely at least worth a shot to try giving the customer what they asked for.
Yeah. The people that voted for you and put you in power might just have some sort of reasonable claim on you actually taking some actions that benefit them in some way. Yeah. It's like the left wants to raise minimum wage. All right, let's let the left raise minimum wage for a few years and see if that helps. If it doesn't help, then that's not. Then we go do it the other way around. Let the Republicans decide to, free up the market more and take away a lot of the regulations and taxes and shit that are stifling some of the businesses out there.
Yeah.
And if neither of those helps, then you got a serious fucking issue and you probably got to shoot a bunch of fucking corporate people. But then at least you would know that those two methods don't work. So you could be looking for a third.
At least made the attempt.
Yeah. No, right now it's just a very small group of very wealthy people trying to control the entire population. And it's very obvious, and it's very obviously being pushed by China, who's probably funding that wealthy group of people. Because, I'm pretty sure Twitter's not making enough money to really make, I forget who runs Twitter, super huge amounts of money.
Oh, yeah, Jack Dorsey, yeah.
I'm sure a fair portion of what he makes is coming from China.
Yeah, that would explain a lot.
Same with Zuckerberg. The money that these people are throwing around, even Google, I genuinely think is probably in the pocket of China at this point.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Because I think a good portion of why they got as big as they did was China, but I don't know. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. We're screwed either way.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
We're all done. We're all doomed. All right. Do we want to keep going and going over the same ground, or do we want to call it a night? Because we are at that time. If we want to.
Yeah, we might as well call it, dude. I think we're petering out here.
And anybody that actually showed up and accidentally clicked on our video, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Stop by next time. Appreciate